check.
Keep talking.
What do we got? How we feeling? Everything's good?
Everything's great.
Welcome to the Aviator.
There we go.
Appreciate you coming.
Awesome. And then,
Bam.
okay, can you go ahead and give me something? Okay.
Oh.
Can you give me something?
Yo, what up? Oh,
Hold up.
shit. Oh, this way.
Go ahead.
Yo, what up?
Nothing. Are you muted? Are you flashing?
I am not muted.
This is killing me.
Flashing is muted, right?
How come your mic isn't coming on? Dude, everything is just an absolute mess right
Check.
now.
Wait, I turned it down too. I don't know.
That's
that was
mute.
supposed to
That's
be.
your volume for your headphones.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on. Now you're loud there.
Check.
It's not working.
Check.
Not working.
Wasn't it just working a minute ago?
Oh, you're on my mic. That's why. We switched seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Check.
Good there. All right, you can. Right here. Oh, can you check out my levels right here? I'm
Yeah.
actually going to be on your mic. Let's mute yours back out. And let me get up on her. Check test. Hey, check test. No yellow?
No yellow.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, shit. Let's hit this.
Huh. They have painted that. Interesting.
Have painted what?
That vent. You can see it from right here on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of
Yeah, you can see it from here, too.
Just like sprayed it from.
Unreal. Unreal,
yeah.
these painters.
Let me know when you want me to switch that video. Yeah,
Still.
still.
No, I don't know because of.
Want me to unplug it from the?
I don't have a long enough cable because of the stuff
Right.
we have. I
Mhm.
don't have the cabling to get the input. I need to run this input from the camera to the switcher,
Mhm.
and then the switcher out to this. So every time I switch the
Mhm.
cuts, we can see this. Like,
Can we move just the monitor?
what do you mean by moving? No, the camera. Like, this camera physically to be able to get all of us in a scene, to have us all in a scene, it needs to be closer.
Can we bring it closer and just zoom it out?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just try and move this and see if I can. I need to get it close enough where I can physically attach it to that switcher.
Okay.
So I need to get it within this distance.
Let's see.
Plug that in number one.
So I can unplug one?
Yeah, plug one. Put this one in HDMI out. HDMI out. That one goes out to the monitor. You can see what color there.
Okay.
And this one has to go
You
this way.
have to run it from here. Yeah, that's tight. We're gonna have to be zoomed way out.
Well, I have to bring the camera over here to this side.
Okay.
Bring it here, I think. Try to bring it up. Best I can do. Every week is a learning experience.
This is saying that we have a bad. Please check video resolution. The current resolution is 852 by 480, which is not optimized. Open widget. Streams helping me data. Analytics. Okay, so, can you click mute on my microphone, please?
Yeah,
put all
please.
your mics on,
Oh,
put your
jeez.
mute. Oh,
Guys, don't get me sued.
there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
Hold on. Why is your mic still coming on? No, it's right here. There's a little mute button right here.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, perfect.
Check, 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 test. Excellent. Hey guys, we'll be on here in the next 5 minutes. We will jump into it and get started. Well, let me make sure your gain's all the way down.
Mic check, checkity one. Mic check, mic check.
Let me bring this up.
Mic checkity check. 1 2 1 2.
Check, 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 test. Hey. Let's see how bad the delay is.
So it's a while. So you still hearing?
Sound good?
That was a while ago when I did that. So is Kadar unmuted now, or
I'm muted. You got it on here?
just do a sound check? Yeah.
Check, check. Mic check.
Yeah, just talk normal volume. Tell me, what'd you do this morning?
This morning I woke up,
Yep.
put my pants on, came to work to hang out with you boys.
He woke up this morning staring at the rising sun.
That's true. Yeah.
There were 3 little birds
Hold on.
outside his doorstep singing a sweet song.
It's adorable, man. It's adorable.
A
I
melody
love
that was pure and good.
You're a little hot.
A little bit. Let's try to stop.
It's on your gain.
Oh, shit.
That's where you're too high at. Yeah, you're way at. You want to be like right there. Go ahead and hit it again now.
All right. Yep. We're good. I think. Well, it was never muted, so I think we should be good here.
Where am I at, boys? Check.
A melody pure and good,
Check 1 2.
singing.
Did you add your?
This is my message to you.
Are you on here though?
Check 1. Check 2. Check 1. Check 2. Check check. Check check. Toast.
You might
Oh
mute
shit, you're
mine.
on his shirt. Okay.
Mute mine.
Is yours mute? Okay, you're muted. Is Kadar muted? Check 1. Check 2. Toast toast. Check 1. Check 2.
am not muted. Do you want me to mute?
Yeah. We are
Black magic.
Black Magic.
You're fine. Yeah. Find my mic.
And then you should be.
Check one. Go up. Check one. Oh,
There you
hot.
go.
I'm really
Yeah,
hot.
you're-
Check
I got
one,
you, I
check
got
two.
you.
No, I got it on here, so that way I'm not. Check. Check one. Check two. Check. Toast.
Good.
Check one. Check two.
I saw you try to get out the shot. Yeah, you should have stayed in the shot. I'm trying to run.
All right. You guys ready?
Well, does it matter?
Try to unmute now? Yeah, go ahead. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear everything. Hopefully that this looks okay.
I got mine. Yeah, I'm good. I got one down here.
What up, guys? These weeks keep flying by, man. It's just so fast. I feel like we're doing this every day now. This is our 7th podcast.
Is it 7 now? We were talking earlier. Yeah, and I wasn't sure
Seven.
how many it was.
Sorry we're late, guys. We're here. We're at a different location today. Last week we came to you guys live from the International House of Pancakes, and that was pretty dope. I had a good time. Today we are at the newest event entertainment center in Cleveland, Ohio, called the Aviator Event Center and Pub.
Yep.
This is one of my good friends' place, so he invited us in to come and sit down and talk to him. So that's what we're gonna do. And this is Kadar.
What's
Thanks
up, man?
for having me,
How are
fellas.
you?
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks
Got
for
it?
having
Look
us,
pretty?
man.
This is good.
Looking good.
This is good.
This is a bird's nest of wires. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So what's up, man? How you been, bro?
Good, guys. Good. And I appreciate you guys coming in. This is awesome. This is a nice little setup you guys got, too. I'm impressed.
It's just a mess. So
It works. It works.
yeah.
I mean, it does work, but it took forever for them. And I say them. By the way, guys, I don't do much when it comes to setting up. It's all these two.
We've noticed.
I just sit here and look pretty, you know.
We didn't want to throw you under the bus. He's absolutely, that's the truth.
Yeah, I have no problem owning up to it. But no, yeah, but we're here though, man. We got it, man. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, thanks for letting us come and use your space, dude. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to diving into some content with you, man, today, and well, we are, and hopefully, viewers be able to walk away after today and see what the Aviator is all about, and hopefully that'll bring you some inquiries and
Love it.
And
And I got to say,
whatnot.
guys, this is a very unique way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Via podcast. I mean, you don't see that many.
It's just real, we
It
can
is.
go in depth. It's not a 30-second clip
Right.
on Facebook. We can really dig in and pick your brain and figure out what the hell you're doing, why the hell you're doing this.
Yep.
Like, why would someone even want to get involved with this?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
this isn't some, like, little easy task, So I guess before we jump into the Aviator and all that, can you give us a little background? What's your history and
Yeah.
what was it that led up to this?
This actually happened kind of by accident, getting into the event center business and the hospitality business in general with restaurants and whatnot. I went to school for accounting. Came out of school, got my degree, tried accounting for a year, just wasn't for me, the whole 9 to 5. Grew up in family businesses, so I realized I wanted to kind of build something on my own and, build a team and have something for the future. And I had an opportunity to go to an event center and brewery that was in the process of opening about 5 years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Built that place up, and this opportunity came to be, and I knew the wedding business was the business I wanted to be in. Just trying to change it a little bit. I came in as probably one of the younger guys in the market to try to reinvent the word wedding, and we're doing it. That's the beauty of it. We're doing it and we're showcasing it with the Aviator at this point. And we got lots of couples on the books that are going to experience what we're doing.
So what it is exactly that attracted you to the wedding business? What made you be like, I want to be a part of this?
Great question. You know, it was, simply we all go to weddings, right? We all got families, we all got friends. Every wedding I went to, it felt like it was the same thing, right? It was the same dinner. It was the same setup. It was the same timeline. Nothing felt unique to me. And I said, there's got to be a better way.
Right.
And with things, as you guys know and everybody knows, things change every single day and new trends and, what's hot and what's not and what's coming in and what's going out. I want to be able to capture that.
Yeah.
It was trying to get away from, a couple walking in and saying, here's what your wedding is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation with me is, how do you want your wedding to be? Which is a much different conversation.
Yeah,
much different conversation.
So this is tailored to your client then?
It is. Every couple that comes in our doors, it's what do you envision your wedding day looking like?
Okay.
And how can we make that happen? Mm-hmm. And we never say no.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, what kind of led you to that level of thinking, and what's been your experience so far when it comes to couples, clients when they come in? Are they able to convey, do people have a much better, does it seem like people have an idea overall of what they're looking for and are able to convey that to you, and then you're able to provide that to them?
It is, and I think, with today's day and age, with Pinterest and all the access of content that they just have in general online, they have a much better idea of what they want, especially from pulling little pieces away from different sources.
Just like this.
Just like that, yeah. And we try to take those little touch points of what they like and combine it to be their own. Mm-hmm. I refuse to have a couple walk in and say, here is what you get for your wedding. Let's kind of manipulate it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to start with that. Mm-hmm. I want to start with, what do you want? What's special to you? Because my goal is I want guests to walk out the door and say, damn, that was the best wedding we've been to. Yeah, right? We set the standard for that family on this is what weddings should look like. Mm-hmm. And that's done with unique touches.
Sure.
That's dope.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I know that this has been a journey getting to this point. So you're at this other event center.
Yeah.
Around that time when you were working there, that's when I met you, and we started working together. What I remember, the way I recall it, and I could be totally wrong, is you gave me a call back in early 2020. The pandemic had just started, and they said we were going to be shut down for 2 weeks, and I'm like, this is the time I'm going to fucking become a carpenter and rehab my kitchen, right? So I'm doing that one morning, and I'm ripping apart my kitchen, and Kadar calls me, and he says, hey, what do you think of the 100th Bomb Group? And I'm like, oh, it's dope. I'm like, it's old. It needs updating. I'm like, but it's a great spot. And he's like, yeah, dude, we're going to get it, and I want you to be involved with it. And I just kind of laughed, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like hammering shit. And then he just goes on this rant for 15 minutes, and then it hit me like, holy shit, he's serious. Like, he's going to do this, So during that process, I mean, we're in the middle of a shutdown. Weddings are stopped completely. What does that look like, trying to acquire a property and rehab the whole thing? Like, what were some of the challenges? And I mean, city or right across from an airport, what did all that look like?
Honestly, one of the biggest challenges we had early on was figuring out how much of the 100th Bomb Group we wanted to keep as a part of the property. Right? It's such an iconic place. I mean, there's not that many restaurants or event centers that can say they've been around with their brand and their name for over 70-some years, especially in just one city. And the 100th Bomb Group did that. Yeah. Hats off to them. They did a phenomenal job. Yeah. It got to the point where I think it became a little bit tired, and it just needed a little bit of a rejuvenation. And figuring out exactly what that rejuvenation was, right? It's, kind of how we talked about before, figuring out what those trends are and what's hot and what's not. I mean, it's tough, right? When you're making an investment like that, how long are some of these things that are trendy, how long are they going to stay trendy? Right? Before we spend all this money on these things.
Potentially.
Exactly. That's it. Boxwood walls, the big green walls that everybody wants to put champagne on them and hang neon signs and backdrops for pictures. Right? I invested a ton of money into incorporating those into all of our spaces because that is the hottest thing right now. It was just figuring out, Ryan, what exactly we wanted to showcase and what our vision was for the clients, and really building a blank slate. That's what I tell everybody. I wanted to, I should say we wanted to build a facility that didn't have so strong of a theme,
Yeah.
it interfered with whatever the couple wanted.
Okay.
And it was figuring out exactly, especially on a 30,000 square foot space.
Yeah.
It was almost like, where do we start?
Yeah.
Right? I got all this area.
So, I just was just curious. You already touched pretty much on why you got into this, but like, what experience do you bring for your clients that walk in here,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, besides this dope ass view, I'm sorry. Again, I just get so enamored by just like planes and things.
It's
I
so
mean,
cool.
Oh, yeah.
So besides it, and I wish you guys can all see it. When you guys come to the Aviator, you'll see how. And we're lucky that it's a beautiful day today, and we have such a nice view. But outside of this, and the facility is just, I mean, it's top tier, dude. You fucking kick
I
ass.
appreciate it.
It's
Thank you.
amazing. But outside of that, like what experiences does the Aviator bring for your bride and grooms
Totally.
and their families? That knocks everything out.
It's a lot of the connections.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of the connections and being able to connect the dots on what is a very special day for people. And they don't know where to start. That's the thing, right? We're in the business, right? We all talk the same talk and we talk to the same people and we all have the same resources. Couples don't have that, right? So that, they come into me and I tell everybody, think of me as your consultant, right? And I just happen to be giving it to you via the Aviator. Being able to connect with Ryan, that was kind of the brainchild on that first 15-minute phone call. If you remember, it was, Ryan, we need to build a one-stop shop, right? I want to keep that word in mind as we're doing everything. One-stop shop. How can we make everything convenient for them and almost go through the vetting process for them? Other venues are going to hate when I say this, but it's okay. I'm trying to get rid of preferred vendor lists, right?
Nice.
Every
Okay.
single venue has a preferred vendor list, which is built to give it to the client, go start making phone calls, see who works for you, see who doesn't work for you. I wanted to take the guesswork out, vet everybody out already, and be able to offer them a solution. 'Cause that's what it is at the end of the day.
So
they want to check boxes off.
I want to talk about that real quick. I think the most unique thing that I see with what you're doing is right now, if you're an engaged couple, you know this. Basically, what happens is you get engaged, you set a wedding date, you go and get a venue, and then from there, you're running around hiring these random fucking strangers saying, hey, I need you guys to all come together and work as a team on this date, and hopefully you pull this shit off. These people forget about working as a team. They've never even worked together before in the past, So day of your wedding, while it's literally a live production is happening, you have all these strangers trying to figure out each other's workflow and what's going to happen and this and that. So the cool thing I think that you're doing is you're taking a group of reputable business owners, bringing them together. We've all worked together hundreds of times. I know your flow. I know when sales are coming out. I know when blessing of the food needs to happen. I mean, we all just know everything. So the flow of that is super amazing. The other thing that it helps the couple with is you've already done the work for them.
Right.
They don't need to go out and try to see who's good, who's not, or any of that stuff. It's here's the team that we work with, and sit down and talk to them, make sure you like them, obviously, and all that, and then kind of go from there. I think within the next 10 years, continuing on with this idea, that is how weddings throughout the country will be done.
I believe that.
I think that every
Oh, yeah.
venue is going to switch to this model. Every wedding group is going to switch to doing this, where they just work with the team of people. Bride and groom come in, they meet with one person, one roof, and they're tackling everything.
100%.
One of the
100%.
benefits to the client of that too is basically Kadar came to me and said, Ryan, listen, we're going to do, let's say 100 weddings a year here out of this building. I'm going to give you 100 weddings a year. What I want in return is I want you to take care of my clients. It's like buying this Red Bull from a gas station, right? When a client walks into my office, and when they come in and they're coming through the Aviator, it's like they're buying at Costco because I'm getting such a massive volume. So therefore, the client's getting benefit from that from a financial standpoint as well, because it's a lot less expensive. So it's just really smart, man, and just a really cool idea.
And one of the things to piggyback off that, the biggest hurdle that I had in kind of explaining what is a one-stop shop and how are we doing it, I want to make it very clear that my idea was not to go hire a guy on Craigslist and give him a couple $100 and say, oh, I have an in-house DJ. Right. That is much different than partnering with an Ohio DJ Pros and a Cufflink Media on the photo video side and a Blank Slate Floral and Design for everything florist related and decorations and whatnot. To your point, right? It was very, very, very important for me to get reputable companies that have been doing it for a long time and that have a process built. right? That's the biggest thing, you know, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, we're referring a lot of clients
It's all about
over to our
systems,
partners.
yeah.
It's about the system.
How you handling things on
It
the
is
back end.
just making it efficient, making it efficient, investing money in technology.
Right,
You know, one of the best things that I did, you know, right when we bought this place, we went out and developed our own app.
Oh, nice.
Simply because I got tired of planning weddings via email.
No shit.
Right.
Okay.
It was one of those things.
That's
I'm looking
dope.
at my emails one day and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, well, I can only imagine what these couples are doing with their full-time lives and jobs. And it gets confusing.
Yeah.
So this app is built literally to be home base for everything information related for their wedding and their wedding only.
No shit.
I mean, I even have it to the point where it's hooked up to Pinterest so they can upload to us their design ideas. What do you like? What do you don't like?
That's
So when we
dope.
go to meet with them, we already got a great idea of their personalities and what they want to see. And here's our ideas on how we can bring that in for the day of and to the venue. That's the biggest thing.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's
So
just
the
making it
laying
easy.
foundation.
Quick question: what's as far as you know when it comes to presenting that to potential clients
Yeah.
like that? What's been the response so far?
Response has been overwhelmingly really good. I mean, we're, you know, as you guys know, you've seen it, right? We've been renovating this place for about 7 months now, and
And you
knock
kicked
on
ass,
wood,
dude.
knock on wood. I mean, we've
kicked ass.
you know, whoever that we have booked that's listening to this thing, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I've been thanking every couple that has signed on with us because they signed on via construction zone. So to your point, right, they bought the vision, they bought
Damn.
the idea,
Yeah.
right? And here's the thing: it's when a couple comes to me, and this is a little bit of a hurdle as well. It's a much different conversation that I have that they do with other venues, and that's okay. But it's that hurdle of this is what we're doing, and this is what we believe is going to be the future. And at the end of the day, it's to make your life easier and to give you the best product out there.
Right.
I think it's unique. I think it's unique that you brought that up because we've talked about in the previous podcast. We've talked about trying to provide unique experiences and try to provide that thing that really kind of puts it over the top for the couples.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's almost like an industry shift or a disruption. And I think you and I
Yeah.
prior to the podcast were kind of talking about
yeah.
this. That's how things kind of shift. And if the response is positive and that becomes the new trend, ultimately. And what the point I was trying to make, or the point I was getting at, is that we all want to provide the most amazing quality experience for the end user, which is the client, which is the couple. And if that's what the clients and couples are desiring, and that's what's going to make it easier and more convenient to be able to provide them with that unique experience, most people are going to shift to what's providing that overall experience. And if our ultimate goal, I think the true professionals in the industry, in our industry now, are trying to provide that amazing experience. That is the end goal. It's not just booking clients. It's not, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's ultimately the goal is to deliver the most amazing experience, whether it be entertainment, whether it be, you know, our end product of photography, or just the overall user experience of the ease of use, knowing that they trust you when you come in, you can answer their questions and direct them.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's an impressive thing, and I'm curious to see how this is going to work moving forward in the industry. You know, if other venues start to try to fall in line with that as well.
Sure.
What do you think about that?
You know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, from my perspective, I wanted to be the first one to do it, and do it on a full scale, and do it with a 30,000 square foot venue that's got 5 different event spaces. That is right. That's the
So
most
dope.
important thing from a business standpoint on my end. At any given day, we're handling dozens and dozens of clients for any type of event, from a 400 person wedding to a 1,000 person corporate event gala, down to a 40 person baby shower. The people who were just walking through here this morning, actually.
Can you play the B-roll on this real quick off of my phone? Can we do that? We can just continue talking and have that kind of rolling.
There you go.
Kind of take a look at some of the.
Yes,
So this is the inside of the Aviator right now. Here's some little video.
Oh, cool.
You want to kind of talk about this as we're looking
Sure.
at this?
Yeah. So where are we at? Awesome. All right. So 100th Bomb Group before restaurant and event center. Our goal was to shrink the restaurant and expand on the events. So what you're looking at right now is a portion of the restaurant area. Oh,
Yeah,
there
a
we
little
go.
closer. There you go.
Can we turn that a little bit? Perfect. All right, so now you got walking into our foyer and entrance. So as you guys can see, we really wanted to go modern with it. Really clean colors, grays, whites, blacks, charcoals, a lot of hits of Cleveland, just real small hits of Cleveland.
I will say when we talked about in the last show that my wife and I had a chance to come through and tour the space.
Yeah.
We had an open house, and we were blown away by the aesthetic. It's beautiful, as we're seeing in the video here. Just the attention to detail is so crucial when it comes to, you know, from a photography standpoint. I think it said Omar did to the background.
There you go, buddy.
I love it. See, I mean, you can see the space and you can see the airport in the background. It's
Yeah.
the light's a little bit blown out in the windows in the back, but you can see the airport in the background. But the attention to detail, the aesthetics, all the little touches, as you mentioned, the touches of Cleveland. how you were able to collaborate, or not collaborate, but bring in the Aviator feel, the hangar stuff, the airline type things, without it still feels really elegant. Still feels elegant, but it has that association. You can feel the aviation. There's a nice tie-in, but it's still very classy, very elegant, very upscale. But you guys paid attention to amazing details, and that's one of the things that we noticed most. First off,
That was a goal. That was a goal, and you know, having spaces that all look a little bit different, right? I didn't want everything. You know, you can see some of these rooms with the all oak walls. You know, a lot of that was original from the 100th Bomb Group. This is Gabriella's space. This one's named after my daughter, so something kind of cool.
Oh,
All the rooms on this side of the house are named after the daughters of myself and my 2 partners.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
Very
a
cool.
little
Nice
family
smell,
house.
nice person.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's right where you walk in.
Yeah, it looks really good.
That's really cool, actually. That's from Etsy. So
really?
this was a local guy that builds out these beautiful maps, and there's a little detail in there. You can't see it on here, but we have the Aviator logo exactly where we fall on that map. So we got couples coming in that are trying to find, they find where they're at, point into it.
Yeah.
All flights lead back to the Aviator.
Yeah. That's dope.
The concept
Something
sounds
different.
It sounds. I mean, you've really thought. It does definitely sound like you really put a ton of thought into this, and the passion's obvious. And again, from a person coming in as a client or potential, like when we came in, hadn't had a chance to meet you yet, and just our first.
Can we switch out of that? Sorry. So
Absolutely, our first impression, just of yourself and the space. I mean, as you can see it, as hopefully anybody that sees this today is, the energy, the passion is there, and I think that's paramount from when it comes to a client standpoint. I know as a consumer, somebody when I buy something, if I want to purchase something, I want somebody who's intense about it, or somebody who cares about what the product they have, or whatever the services they're providing, and that's really, I think it's evident, it's really obvious, from the attention to detail in the space, just to your attitude and the way you deliver, when we ask questions about this, that, or why you did this, or the methodology behind things. I think that's really impressive. So, I mean, it's good to see that.
So I got a question though. So, and I don't want to dive too deep into it because it's not the time or place really. But like, as far as because obviously there's other event spaces in Cleveland, right?
Sure.
So I know like there's one really big one in the Strongsville. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a event space that has
Machad's.
several
Yeah.
rooms, and they they do receptions and weddings and whatnot. So like, for example, I'll just use them as I'm not gonna say the name, but just using them as an example. Like, what would separate you from? And then, again, there's several other spaces that you can we can talk about. But what separates Aviator that you can speak to right now from your competitors that your clients are going to have the confidence when they come here?
So first thing, everything is in-house.
Okay.
Everything is in-house, right? Anytime a client walks out of this building, they already know that all they have to do is show up that day. That is the biggest thing, right?
And you mean like their
legwork
wedding
is
day?
done.
Just show up on the
Wedding day or any event.
Yeah.
We have it down to the linens, to the staffing, to the catering, to the bar,
Floral.
to the alcohol. Everything is here. Everything is here. Even when we start talking about who we have partnership wise with vendors, because there's events out there that come in, and I get corporate events that, hey, we need a DJ. Great, we got Ohio DJ Pros in house. That is not a problem. We can get you a DJ.
Right.
Taking the guesswork out is probably what separates us from the rest, and being able to give them the information in a very clean fashion.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
like
the
to
biggest
piggyback off of that. So one of the problems I see is someone kind of on the outside of the box is a lot of these event spaces I go into, the people have been doing this since the 1970s. They've done 20,000 weddings or whatever the number is, and they're not that focused on how important that day is to the client. To them, it's just another day.
It's another
They
transaction.
really don't care. And what I love about you, what really made me drawn to you and become friends with you is you actually give a shit about what you're doing. And that's so rare to see in this industry, which is crazy to say, but like you actually care so much about this. And that alone should be such a confidence boost for anybody, who's coming into this place. And if anyone is looking to have an event in Cleveland, if you don't consider this place, you're doing yourself a major disservice, because it truly is an amazing space. The flow of this place is crazy good. Just the whole entire layout, from like a cocktail hour outside and the Gabriella's room for the ceremony, then you have your main room. It's just so dope. Outside of weddings, though, because I know that we've been talking a lot about that. What are your plans outside of weddings? What are you going to be doing here?
Restaurant and pub.
Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
restaurant and
Not only
pub.
just
That's going to be awesome. So we got about a 115 seat restaurant. mid to higher end American contemporary style menu. Really good smash burgers and all
Those
the way up,
filet
all the way up,
boys.
fillets all the way up to a
Excellent.
bone-in 16-ounce ribeye.
Nice.
Trying to build a place that us four could go for just a guys' night out.
Yep.
But we could also take our ladies, we could take our families.
Tell me about
that.
that.
Kind of
when
vibe.
is that supposed to start going down?
We're looking
and
early
what's
April.
that look like?
Early April to get
Early
that
April?
up and rolling.
Okay,
And
cool.
then coming right after that is going to be the Rooftop Bar.
So that's a
Ooh-wee.
last
That's
project with
that's
the
the
space
last
that you'll be
project.
doing.
That's
and
the
what,
last project.
What does that consist of exactly? What does that look like?
Yeah, so Rooftop Bar, the 100th Bomb Group before was using it more as an observatory deck, to take kids and families and watch the planes, because that is by far the best shot in this entire property that we have of
Yeah.
the planes coming right overhead.
That's dope.
So we're going to reinvent that almost into a bar and lounge, right? You're going to go up there, you're not going to see a lot of tables and chairs. You're going to see a lot of sofas and sectionals and couches to promote conversation.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a huge proponent in that and a huge believer in that. I don't want you to just come in, especially on the rooftop, to just come in, have a bite to eat, and walk out.
Yeah.
Or
Right?
sit
I want
on
you
your
to come
phone
with
the
a
whole
group.
time.
Yeah, or sit on
Right.
your phone, right? I want you to have unbelievable views with really great drinks with an awesome menu. And you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you something. Kudos to the team we have here. This is not just me, right? It's we've aligned ourselves with really great people in this business, down to the details. I mean, we got Shane over there he's our beverage director, right? It's very unique.
What up, Shane?
Yeah, there's Shane. Oh yeah.
You're in the shot.
And then we got Rolla, who's almost our experience manager,
there you go.
right? Rolla wants to make sure that everybody walks into this building, gets an experience better than anybody else in our community.
So talk to me about your team. How many people
Yeah.
are
what I wanna
involved
know.
with this?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
does this take to operate?
Great question. So Jen, who I think all of you know and met,
Sure.
Jen is me and Jen have been together professionally for 6 or 7
Jen
years
is my
at this
Melinda,
point.
for those of you that,
That
are
is
my
correct.
clients.
Yeah, that's the best analogy we
There you
can
go.
give.
Yeah.
Jen is my right hand.
Right.
100%.
Awesome.
Jen runs the events. Once the event is brought into us, Jen is a little bit of the design arm and the colors and making sure that process that we've built actually gets executed. Because what I tell everybody, I make a lot of promises to a lot of people every single day. A lot of
Got a lot
promises.
to live
And we got to come through on those promises.
Yeah.
And Jen is the leader of that on the event side.
How many people are on this team to make this happen on a day-to-day, or for, like, say it's my wedding day? Like,
Yeah.
What does this
Oh
take?
yeah.
How many-
For your wedding day, you'll have me, you'll have Jen, who's kind of your event success manager from a high level, and then something really cool that we've integrated into our process is a day of event captain. Right, how
day
we
of
use
captain?
the captain.
Okay.
Yeah, so how we use the captain, right? You go to a wedding, the staff is usually dressed in, black tie, tuxedo, suit kind of thing. These captains are, I want them to come in with a sport coat. I want the ladies to be wearing nice dresses. They are a face of the Aviator, and they are that extra layer of service for the bride, the groom, the immediate family, and the bridal party.
So they cater
Because
just
there are
to that wedding
VIPs.
party.
That's it.
That's huge.
Because there are
That's dope.
VIPs. I want to make sure,
So it's
they-
almost like their butler.
yeah. I mean, I like
Yeah.
to say, they're
I don't wanna say that
kind
word,
of
but-
there, waiting for your word.
Yeah.
Wedding concierge?
A wedding concierge, a wedding maitre d'.
It's their
How about
Jeff-
that?
it's
so
their-
many,
fancy,
so
It's their
many
Jeffries.
weddings
fancy.
I go to,
Jeffries.
and I'm going up to the bride and groom right after introductions,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What can I get you to drink?"
Yeah.
And they're sitting there with just their champagne for the
Yeah,
toast
yeah,
that
yeah.
are going to happen later, and it's like, I go up to them, "Okay, now's your downtime. We're going to eat dinner and this and that." They have
Right.
no drinks. What can I get you to drink? So that's awesome that you're having a small team of people that are there just to support the wedding party, the parents, the bride and groom, and those immediate family members.
Absolutely.
That's huge, man. That's
Absolutely.
That's so good.
It sounds
So
like
good.
specialized service as opposed to, you have individuals that specialize in the services they provide.
Oh, yeah.
And again, as we talk about, like, just attention to detail when it comes to the space, having those type of individuals that specialize in that particular type of service, being able to provide that uniquely to each client, like you said, treating people like VIP, and giving them that kind of a feeling is more about the experience you deliver as opposed to saying VIP, oh, you're a VIP. It's more about how you make them feel, and giving them
100%.
specialized individuals that really cater to very, very specific.
Yeah.
Very specific things is going to make those people feel like the VIPs. And
what
that's a
it's all
different
about.
experience. That's a very different experience. So again, it's
what it's all about.
Just everything.
Oh yeah.
So obviously the people that are going to be coming through here, there's several like walks of life that's going to walk through
Yeah.
these
Oh,
doors,
yeah.
right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to have people from all parts of the world that
Yeah.
are going to want a different vibe. And one thing I'm thinking of, because I am hungry, but one thing I'm thinking of is like cuisine.
Yeah.
So how flexible is your kitchen?
Oh, yeah.
So like, let's say you have a Middle Eastern wedding
Sure.
one weekend, and then
Sure.
next week you have Italian,
Yeah.
and then the week after that you
Oh,
might
yeah.
have an Asian wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you able to
It's a great question.
to adjust to each one?
It's a great question. Yeah. So I'm gonna back up a second, right? So the biggest concept for us at the Aviator is that we are not a package style venue. That is, those 3 words, package style venue, are massive in our business. 99% of venues, you're walking in, again, here's option A, option B, option C.
I agree, 100%.
Pick a dinner,
Right.
pick a couple appetizers, pick your bar package, call it a day.
Yeah.
That is 100% completely different than the experience you're going to get at the Aviator. To your point, right? I get weddings that come in, and it's a big Italian family, and they want everything fully Italian driven. And then the next week, I got an
Red
Arabic
sauce and
couple. And
carbs.
yeah.
Right.
So we're a completely customizable cater from top to bottom, a la carte. We never say no, and I'll tell you,
So you
every
could do
single.
so you could do buffet, you could do sit down, you could do
Yeah, I'll
do
touch
all
on
those.
those. It's for us, it's never saying no, never saying no. Right, we'll figure it out, and we've started figuring a lot of these things out with very similar to how we partner on vendors to make the wedding day happen. We've done a lot of that on the cuisine as well. Doughnuts, right? One of the trendiest things right now for events and weddings.
Donut stop dancing.
Do
I'm
not
telling
stop
man,
dancing.
put it
There you
right
go,
up on
buddy.
the
I like
dance
that.
floor.
Oh yeah. Instead of saying we offer in-house donut walls and in-house donut tables and whatnot, we went out and partnered with Jack Frost Donuts.
Yeah.
Who's one of the largest names in the state of Ohio for
Yeah.
anything donuts.
Iconic.
Iconic name,
iconic.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was a great conversation with them, right? They bought into our vision. We want to be able to say that we are partnered, and we're proud to be a partner of Jack Frost, right? We took that concept, did it with the Cleveland Caramel Corn Company, who does all of the popcorn for the Cavs. Massive in Ohio, right? Everybody knows that name. It's a very famous taco place. We're about to ink that deal.
Ooh,
You guys know what it is.
I love it.
Not gonna officially
That's
say
what's
it, but
up,
that one's
man.
Taco
coming.
Bell?
That one's coming down the pipe.
Taco
So,
Bell,
yeah, thanks. Yeah,
chalupas?
appreciate it. Yeah.
2 a.m.
Get on
chalupas?
Taco
That's
Bell.
exactly
Crunchwrap
what
Supremes
everyone.
for everybody.
He's about to have a little chihuahua run through this
Oh yeah,
motherfucker.
oh yeah. Now, huge shout out to our executive chef and his team.
Yeah.
We got very lucky with this executive chef.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, John Standen, awesome guy, young guy, super creative, and that was kind of my number one criteria when we were talking to executive chefs.
Look at
It
that
was
plane
not
just
yeah,
going
it's
taking
going
off.
right behind
So
us coming
awesome.
through. Oh yeah,
So
oh, yeah.
cool.
Sorry.
So John, he spent about 7 or 8 years training with Michael Simon
Oh, nice.
and being in the kitchen at Lola.
Oh,
that was on
nice.
East 4th. Yeah, so he
Man,
which I closed.
that
Yeah,
killed me.
yeah,
When
yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
We love East Fourth.
Oh, yeah.
What a shame to have that go down.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping
Yes.
back to the airplanes, that's super quiet.
Isn't that
You didn't
awesome?
even hear that.
They're
They
very
take
Yeah.
special
off.
And that's-
Normally they come in and land this way, but this one took
I didn't
off.
even realize. Yeah, that is very quiet.
Didn't even,
They're
they
taking
didn't
off.
even
and you
hear
don't hear
it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody knows we're sitting and we can see the runway, we can see everything as far as things coming in and taking off. And yeah, literally a plane just took off. And if anybody's been on a plane and knows what a plane sounds like, how a plane
Yeah.
literally you could see it,
It's-
but you can't hear
But
it.
you can't hear it.
I doubt
What,
it.
I'd say it's about 500 yards from here, maybe.
As well.
Yeah, we're right across
yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
It's
that's
really
true.
impressive how quiet
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually is.
That's what it's all about.
And there's traffic out here as far as road traffic stuff too. You don't hear a single thing, which is fantastic.
On a main street, don't hear nothing.
Nope.
Nope.
great.
Totally secluded.
It's so cool.
Totally
man.
secluded.
I'm so happy for you and with everything that you're doing. And I'm just really excited to see
I
this come to
appreciate
life.
it. I appreciate it.
I've been waiting, years to see this happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then our team, we came in here and we had our Christmas party here.
That's right.
Well, the place was just shredded, And
So
and all my
scaffolding
people
all
are
over the
like, all my people are like, wait a minute, when's this supposed to open? It'll
Well, I
happen.
remember Melinda called me.
Yeah.
She goes, we have like 20 some people. We just want to throw a little holiday party, and I'm like, oh man. I was like, I'm in a construction war zone right now. I'm like, we'll figure it out.
We needed a free space, man.
Yeah, well, you got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I appreciate it.
got it.
Appreciate it.
I think the whole reason why we kind of did this and why we started to put together this video podcast that we're doing and trying to share content and information is also to talk to and sit down with other people in our industry that are as passionate as we are, who care about delivering an amazing experience like we are. We've talked about this multiple times, and that's really the focus. So it's always nice to bring in somebody who's that's different from us. Obviously, DJ entertainment and from a photography standpoint, but a venue standpoint is there's a hierarchy typically when it comes to the wedding industry in Northeast Ohio. And venues are usually the first place when a couple's getting married. The first thing they're going to find out is, hey, we're engaged, we're getting married. And we picked a date, which means we have to find a venue. And we jokingly say whenever we talk to couples is, what's your wedding date? We picked a venue out.
Right.
We don't have a venue. I said, well, you don't have a date.
Yeah.
So it's always
Gotta get the date.
It's always great to come across somebody in the industry who's at the top of that food chain, essentially, who has the same mentality, the same attitude. What would you attribute that to necessarily? Is it just your history with family business, or just business in general, or what drives you to have that kind of a passion that's similar to what we have?
You know what? It's my age. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm 28 years old. I'm
Get
probably
the fuck out of here.
yeah, oh
You're
yeah.
28?
28. 28.
You're a young man.
It's
You're only 28 years old?
7-day work
Only
weeks.
how old do you think he looks? Damn, oh.
Yeah,
God
man. What are you
damn.
trying to say?
I thought you were at least like 35, 37.
I was saying
28.
because with
Shit.
shadow,
It's the
I was
beard,
thinking-
yeah.
I was gonna say early
Damn.
30s. Okay.
Almost 29. Almost 29.
When's your birthday?
May 27th.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh, I know where we're having a
Coming up
birthday
Memorial
party.
weekend. Yeah, we're gonna be partying
Yeah.
here,
boys. But with my age, it's all the couples that I should say most of the couples that I'm doing weddings for are my age, right? We all talk the same talk. We all like the same things. It's I love doing weddings for couples that I can relate to,
Yeah.
and I tell them that. I'm honest with them, right? It's almost like yes, I'm doing your wedding as the venue, but I almost feel like I'm going to be a guest at your wedding as well.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
because we get along,
Yeah,
right? There's there's couples. We did that styled photo shoot a couple weeks ago. You guys were here for that. That couple that we had as our fake bride and groom, call it. I did their wedding like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Awesome.
At the last venue, right? It was we became friends,
They look-
and that's my biggest thing.
They made me uncomfortable because they look too perfect.
They are too perfect. They are.
That's
too
why
perfect.
you used
They
them
are-
as models. They were pretty.
Man,
Like,
they
they
are.
were
They are like.
perfect.
Oh yeah, they
Hair
play the
was just
part.
in the right
they
place.
love it. They're so
Yeah.
photogenic.
I'm looking at them like.
They're live on the website now, aviatorcle.com. There's my
Yeah, give
this
us a
little
shout
plug.
out. What's your Instagram and your Facebook?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that?
What's all that?
Instagram, Aviator. Everything's Aviator CLE
Okay.
on Instagram. TikTok is Kedar Does Weddings.
Okay.
You can get some really cool content on there on what's trendy and what we're doing
Sure.
and all that good
Dude,
stuff.
I just got text messages like, yo, he's fucking 28. No shit.
Yeah.
Like,
What,
people like,
And here's and why I'm not shy about that.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of and I'm, if we're talking hurdles, and that's one of my biggest hurdles,
Yeah.
right? It's the credibility aspect
Yeah,
Sure.
of being younger in this business.
To be honest, at this point, at this
Yeah.
stage of the game, though, I really don't think it's possible. As things have kicked off, and like I said, we've all been super impressed.
Yeah.
We've been in the industry for a little while as well, so I mean, to see different venues and stuff, I don't think you'll have any issues with legitimacy or credibility as this place.
I mean, yeah.
Not anymore.
Place
Not
is
anymore.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Not at
yeah.
all.
And the way you carry
Yeah.
yourself, obviously, I mean, I don't need to tell you this. I mean, coming from me doesn't mean anything. But I mean, this place, we were super impressed. Like I said, the first introductions, the first impressions were fantastic. And you've been nothing but genuine and open to us. And the place looks fantastic. It really does look
Thank
amazing.
you.
The vision, to have the vision first, and then to see it come through to fruition the way it has, it looks great. We're really excited to have an opportunity to be here at some point, and I know you guys are going to be here quite a bit.
I'm so excited, man.
I can't wait.
I'm super grateful for the
can't wait.
opportunity to be here just because the biggest thing to me is, before this, I was working a day job in digital forensics before I was full-time with my company. And the reason I left that is because I truly care about weddings. I love it. There's nothing better than sending a couple at the end of the night off and then knowing in my head, man, we planned this whole thing. We figured this whole thing out. These people are going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
Totally.
It's like having a child, right?
Totally.
So, the amount of passion, again, that you have for this is just really cool. And I'm super grateful to be working with you and your team. And I think it's going to be awesome because I think,
Likewise.
a lot of like-minded people like that coming together, it's unstoppable, which
yeah.
leads me to my next question. What is your plan from here? So you're going to open this up and you're going to do weddings. Where's the Aviator and you
Yeah.
in 5 years from now?
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
what-
Great
what's,
question.
what's the big picture?
Great question, and we've talked a little bit about it, Ryan. It's one of those things for the Aviator of building the model and building the process, right? The mousetrap, essentially.
Right.
To be able to take what we've done with the people that we did it with and be able to pop it into different markets, right? The Aviator, probably the most central location in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about bringing people from all over the cities
Right
around
by
us.
every
Right
highway,
by everything, yeah.
right by the airport,
right off of
hotels,
480.
shopping, the whole nine.
You know, maybe taking it on a little bit of a smaller scale. You know, going to a city like Strongsville, going to a city like Westlake, to an Avon, to
Canton.
Streetsboro,
Even down to Canton,
to an Akron,
North
to a
Canton,
Canton.
yeah.
Exactly, right. They don't all have to be 30,000 square foot facilities.
Right.
Right. We were just, knock on wood, we were blessed to have the bones of this place here, just to be able to come in and make it look pretty and modern again. That's the plan, man. It's building the
You got,
model
like,
with
little,
great people.
You can have like little Aviator pubs or Aviator restaurants.
That's another opportunity is the restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, it's the restaurant, and my goal and what I look forward to one day is being able to call you guys and say, hey, here's location number 2.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to do the same thing that we did at location number 1, but we're going to do it bigger and better. Right, and it's building. It keeps building the credibility too.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
dope.
That's the plan.
That's dope.
I want more.
When it comes from a business standpoint, when you have passion, when you enjoy, when you genuinely love what you do, and that's really the passion. There's no limit. There's
No
limit
limit.
to that. You don't stop. There's no top in the mountain.
Yeah.
It's that kind of point. It's just
Yeah.
on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's either scaling or trying to find a way to expand or grow
yeah.
or be able to offer that passion up in different ways. It's exciting to hear.
That's what it's all
That's
about.
awesome.
And I have great partners in this thing. I got 2 partners in this.
Tell me about them.
Yeah, one of them is United Concessions Group.
Okay.
They've been around for 40-some years. The core of their business is restaurants within airports.
Okay.
And they're actually partnered with Michael Simon on the Bar Simon restaurants that are in the
In the
Cleveland
airport,
Airport. They got a couple others across the country. But that's what they do. They're a restaurant-driven organization, and that was very important for us here. The way we kind of structured it was United Concessions Group was going to come in, handle all of the back end of our business, which is the accounting and the taxes and the payroll, all the things we have to do as a business, but also take lead on the restaurant because that's what they do and that's what they do best. To allow me to focus on the process for the weddings, right? And being able to step outside the box and not be bogged down with a lot of the other stuff that needs to happen.
As far as this space is concerned, what, if you can, give like an idea of the goal perhaps, or maybe the way it's laying out as far as you got restaurant, pub, and then weddings. Do you have like a percentage or kind of how that plays out or how that lays out in the space throughout the course of the year, how you operate from an operating standpoint? What's your focus most? What's going to be your main focus? Is it going to be the wedding?
Great
Going
question.
to be the restaurant?
Great question. So right when we bought it, the biggest thing we kept in mind was, and this was looking at the numbers from the 100th Bound Group, they were restaurant first, event center second. We needed to flip that concept, right? We are event center number 1, and then we happen to have a restaurant, right? Because we're so local and we got the airports and the new hotel next door and apartments and whatnot, but also for after parties of the weddings.
Right.
That's one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
So you're
right?
going to be
That's one of my
going
biggest
bumping
points.
till like 2 in the morning?
Oh my gosh.
Should I bring a
So-
DJ set up
Guys,
up on the roof?
that's the
and-
rooftop. That's the rooftop.
I was going to get to that off
Yeah.
camera, but since you brought it
No,
up.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not holding nothing back, though.
Dude, he said rooftop. The first thing I thought of, we got to get it set
We
up
gotta
up
get up
there.
there.
And, just for like a regular Friday
Summer
night.
and
or
fall
whatever.
Yeah.
nights.
So
yeah.
do you have like any partnerships with hotels or anything like that, so that
We
for
do.
people that
Great question. Yeah, so if anybody's familiar, right next door to us, those NASA K buildings that have been there, I think they sat vacant the last 35 or 40 years.
Yeah, the old offices, right?
The
Right
old
across
offices,
from NASA?
exactly,
Yeah.
right across from NASA. So a developer purchased them 5 or 6 years ago, and he's been working on them since. He turned the one building into about 120 suite apartments and condos.
Okay.
All modern and super high end. Like downtown amenities.
Right.
Like, I think he's got an indoor golf simulator, an indoor dog
shit.
park, an Olympic size outdoor
Amazing.
pool, cabanas, beautiful complex.
Okay.
And then the building right next door to that is an 80 suite Wyndham hotel. That's going to be
Nice.
called the Orbit.
It's going to be
Nice.
called what?
The Orbit.
The
Orbit.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So you got the Aviator and the Orbit, right? Just walking distance from each other, which is kind of one of the biggest
That's
things,
huge.
right? Downtown has its advantages and it has its disadvantages.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest disadvantage is parking.
Yep.
And
As with most
most
And
cities,
commuting in
parking's a big
general.
one. And the commuting, but the big advantage is most of them downtown are hotels.
Yeah.
Right. So your guests that are flying in go to the reception, take the elevator straight up. Instead of taking the elevator straight up here, you just walk across.
Yeah.
And you're there.
So is there I'm just thinking about like when the weather isn't the nicest, because again,
Yeah,
it's Cleveland. So is there shuttle opportunities?
There
I'm
are.
assuming.
Yep,
Okay.
they got a shuttle.
Okay.
Yeah, they also own the Hilton right behind us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the airport Hilton.
Yeah.
They have a shuttle as well. So we have couples that are actually booking both hotels, which is kind of cool, right? So
And the Sheraton's close too.
and the
right?
Sheraton is close as
Yeah,
well.
mad
So we have a lot of couples that are booking out the Orbit right next door.
Yeah.
And advertising it to their when they're sending out the invitations on. If you're planning on joining us for the after party on the rooftop, book next door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. If you're not if you're planning on going home at 11 when the wedding ends, take the shuttle back to the Hilton.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of the cool thing, It's
Yeah.
Super
That's so
super good plan.
Oh, yeah.
To start
I just
off
wanna have a
playing
party
out
here
those
just
things.
'cause.
Again, it's all about relation. In this industry, it's all about relationships.
That's it.
It doesn't matter what part of the market that you're in. It doesn't matter what you specifically do. It's all about the relationships.
Yep.
And that's, again, ultimately, always is coming back to the best quality experience to deliver for the client. We all have the same client in mind, the same customer in mind, the same client base in mind. And those relationships are huge. And to have that that foundational stuff already established at this point is good for you, man. That's
Thank you.
The other cool thing
He's
too is
only 28. What the fuck? Like, this
When
dude's
you-
making grown man moves. Jesus Christ.
when you think of weddings too, there's so many people that are coming in, right? So I believe the number's somewhere around like 27% of people that get married in Cleveland, which is a crazy high number. They don't even reside here anymore. They're people who grew up here, they went away to college, they fell in love, and they're coming home to get married. And the fact that you're right across the street from the airport, you're talking a 50-cent Uber ride, to get to where you're going.
That's a light
So
jog.
Yeah, it is.
your airport, your venue,
Yeah.
your hotel, it's all right here. You don't
So
you don't have to
convenient.
go anywhere.
So can they all book? So let's say I come in here and say, you know what, I want to get a hotel at the what is it, the Orbit?
The Orbit,
And then I say, all right, I want to do that. Would I be able to say, all right, here is my card. I want to pay for all that and book it. Can I
They
do
sure
it all
can.
here?
They sure can.
All under one
No
roof.
shit.
It's the
All right
beauty of
here.
it.
Amazing.
I kind of
One-stop
like to
shop.
say, just tell us you want it,
Yeah.
and it's gonna magically show up the day of the event.
No shit.
That's it. That's honestly it.
That's
dope.
it.
And I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of this isn't rocket science. I'm not building rocket ships here. Right? At the end of the day, it's just being, to your point, it's being a resource on a process that these couples have not done before.
Yeah.
providing a professional
Yeah,
experience.
that's
and
it.
being a resource, like you said, and making things easier,
Yeah.
making things more efficient,
Right.
and being professional.
We talk
So,
about
like
that
the
a
first
lot.
day,
Professional service.
the first
Yep.
car, the first car you guys bought, right? And I tell every couple this: the first car you ever bought.
91 Corsica, $400.
The questions you asked before buying that car are a lot different than the questions you asked when you bought your new car, right?
I just bought a new car yesterday.
Because you learn new things. Because you learn new things. Yep. Oh yeah.
My first car was a 2012 Maxima.
Ooh,
Max, there you go.
Yeah.
that's a pretty new car.
It's a new car, man.
That was in
2012.
2012. 2012. I got a 2012 Maxima.
Who paid for that, mommy and daddy?
No, man, it was me.
That was all you?
It was a big mistake, and then I downsized to a Toyota Corolla, and then I
You're
went back
How
up.
do you
Dude, for a Toyota
downsize, man?
Corolla,
You're 6
man.
foot.
Brother,
12.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes humbling yourself goes a long way.
Shout out to my wife here and Corolla, and my son. If people don't know Omar, he's a size.
He's Bryce's size.
Yeah, that's what I was just. I mean, you beat me to it. So my wife, like I said, shout out to my wife, saying if she's happened to watch this, listen to this right now.
My friend sent me a text. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. We had a Corolla. We actually just got rid of it a couple years ago. Actually, she had this Corolla for a long time, and Bryce, actually, my stepson, he's about your size. He's probably about 6'5", probably like 350, something like that. He's
Yeah, he knows
Bryce.
Bryce.
Yeah, he knows. I know the audience as far as the audience know, and size-wise, like Bryce hated that car.
Dude, my friend-
It was his head would touch the ceiling.
Yeah.
my home girl Layla, shout out Layla, she texted me last week, just randomly out of the blue. It was not warranted at all. She just texted me, hey, remember that time you used to drive that super small Corolla?
You remember that?
I'm like, damn. I was like, I don't know why you bringing up old shit, man. Like, leave that alone. That was. She's like, every time you got in it, it just leaned on one side. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's
Like,
funny.
But
That's funny.
actually, just this past weekend, man, it got totaled. My mom ran into a fucking guardrail.
Whoops.
She all right?
Yeah, she's good, man. She's a trooper, dude. She I was like, I'm coming to get you. She's like, no, just stay home. I'm like, but you're on the highway. Like, you're just standing there.
run
Like, yeah. So I got there, and she was the police were there by that time. And it was cold. It was like sleet. It was ice rain coming down. I'm like, What are you doing? But anyways, yeah, it's totaled out, man. So it's kind of sad.
R.I.P.
It's like,
Corolla.
damn. Right,
R.I.P.
man.
Corolla.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
An era has come to an end, but it's all
That's
good.
okay.
It's all good.
Speaking of cars, something real cool. So if you go to our website now, you guys saw the Rolls Royce that was out there?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about the roll.
Let's talk about that.
Styled shoe.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Again, throw the website out there again.
So our third partner, Tony DiFiore, he
Okay.
owns Car Parts Warehouse and other businesses. Serial entrepreneur in Cleveland, super successful guy.
Like venture
Absolute-
capitalist type guy, or
No, his own businesses.
Startup?
His own businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. His own businesses. He's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to just general business practices, and he's seen every kind of deal and seen every kind of walk of life, and he just he knows what he's doing. We all need resources, right? So he buys this Rolls Royce, and we're talking one day, and we're like, you know what? This would be really cool for couples to be able to
rent.
take pictures with it,
Yeah.
and it's a Rolls Royce, right? So we brought it in for the styled photo shoot. Just from posting that on my personal. Shout out to Amy Truman, actually. Maybe she's watching. Who knows? She's getting married here. Oh, the
Okay.
couple you booked as well.
yeah.
Yes, them.
Yep.
I
I know exactly who you're talking
Yep.
about.
Awesome couple. She
What
saw
up,
it and she
Amy?
messaged. She goes, "Is that available on the day of our wedding?" I'm like, "You can rent the Rolls Royce." Absolutely.
No shit.
Right, and that was one of those conversations of, "Do you want it?" She goes, "Yep." I said, "It'll be there that day."
If she's,
That's it.
How many other places that we know of in Cleveland right now that you can run a roll?
I was just
Got
gonna
how many?
say.
I don't think anybody.
I was just going to say, if you have any clients interested, I have a 2016 Nissan Versa.
Thank you, Ryan. I knew partnering with this guy was going to bring me something good.
Brother,
we
hey,
can charge him a
hey,
couple
I'm
hundred
fucking
bucks.
with that.
$100.
Hey,
Hand crank windows.
you know
My
what?
son
You know what
got in
that
it for
shows?
the
That
first time.
shows that you were complacent with your life at the time that you're getting married. You don't need all the big bells and whistles.
don't.
Yeah.
So you get the Nissan.
That's it.
Pull up in the. I'm fucking with that.
My
dude.
son,
like it,
my
man.
son got in it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and he gets in and he sits down and he goes, "Why is there meat grinder handles on the door?" And I'm like, "This is an 11-year-old kid." He's like, "What does that do?" And I'm like, "Grant, that's how you roll up the window."
What is that?
And he's like, "It looks like the thing you turn to grind up the meat that they have in the delis." And I'm like,
Oh,
"No,
that's
that's how you
funny.
roll up your window." He had no idea that manual windows existed.
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
"Grant, this is a base model. You're spoiled. You're used to being in,
That's
nice
so
cars."
Yeah, oh, yeah.
sad. Man, I feel old. Now.
Yeah, I told him that's his first car. I'm like, "This is going to be your hand-me-down. I hope you like it."
That's funny.
Bryce was in my Nissan. We went to an event a couple weeks ago, and he gets in. His knees are jammed up to his chin. I'm like, "Put the seat back." He's like, "Bro, it's all the way back," and he's literally in there like this. I'm like, "Dude, we'll take my truck from here on out." So
That is hilarious. Yeah, man. Shout out to all the small cars, man, and the
Oh
big
yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. We all had
The
one.
big people.
How
No,
many weddings do you plan on doing here? Like this year, what does that look like? I mean, are you pretty much booked up, or if
This
someone's
year we're-
interested in doing something, can they do it? Or?
Yeah, no, we could do it. We're fairly sold out in our main space.
Sure.
For this year, and we're almost sold out for next year. Knock on
Wow.
wood. So far,
Wow.
so
Very
good.
good.
Yeah.
God is good.
Yeah,
Damn.
God is good. It's
Wow.
been awesome. And again, thank you to all the people that signed on with us when it was a construction zone.
What else do you have coming up here this year as far as non-wedding events
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Do you have any corporate gigs here,
Oh, yeah.
private parties, concerts? Like what's
Lots.
going on up here?
I think we just hit. We're right around 110 events on the books in total for this year.
Dope.
Congratulations.
Thank
Dope.
you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome,
Congrats.
man.
And a mixture of a lot of things, right? Corporate events, and down to we got a board meeting. A company rented Sophia's room, the smaller of the spaces with the all oak, as their boardroom for a board.
Small business.
Yeah, small
Are they
business,
going to
'cause
do
it's
that like
cool.
monthly or quarterly? Or?
Yeah, they plan on doing it quarterly, which is awesome. And that's the thing. When we're talking about going back to people and talking a little bit about corporate right now, we went out and we hired a corporate event sales manager, right? She's laser focused on building partnerships with the corporations that are around town. Because you got to remember, a lot of these events that these corporate places have to plan, it's usually passed off on their desk of, hey, we need to go host a couple hundred people for a holiday party.
Yeah,
or
we have an
need-
annual sales
Yeah,
meeting
we-
or a
exactly,
quarterly review
exactly.
or
we got trainings, whatever it is.
doctors coming in and trade
And
shows.
it's the same
and-
concept for corporate, Ryan. It's a one-stop shop. We are your partner for anything food and beverage related, whether you need to host it at the Aviator or I'll come cater at your fucking office if I have to. Right, I don't care. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah. So
So
just
it's been good. No, it's not in the
Right,
I'll
right,
never
right.
say no. Never.
So, so you said obviously it's a la carte. So,
Yeah.
just for those that are watching, again, I just like to be realistic. So, like, what are we like? I don't want to go into specifics, but what is
Sure.
like when you look at bottom line?
Sure.
What are people looking at? Because
Financially?
financially. If people watching this is like, oh shit, the Aviator, that looks
Yeah,
so
yeah,
dope.
yeah.
They saw the video that he posted and
$1
everything, and he's hearing,
million.
and they're hearing you talk.
Yeah.
And they're hearing you talk, and they're super excited.
Great
We
question.
need to be realistic too.
Yep,
So,
100%.
like, what do you like? Idea.
How do we do it?
Yeah.
Yep, I gotcha. So I always preface with, we are not the most expensive game in town. We are definitely not the least expensive game in town. With having, again, just knock on wood, we're blessed with a facility that's got 5 different event spaces in total with a restaurant, which means from a business perspective, we do a lot of this in volume, right? So when we do it in volume, we're able to bring our rates down, but still offer everything top tier. And the way I do it in terms of pricing, so this is a massive, massive difference from most other conversations that couples have with other venues, right? Going back to why I don't do packages, it's also because of the pricing, right? Couples walk into venues and, all right, it's $98 a person. Okay, that sounds good. But then they go home and they got to add tax, and they got to add gratuity. They got to add a Chivari chair upgrade. They got to add a bar upgrade, whatever. And by the time they're done with it, they're at $150, $160, $170 a person, not what they expected. So when a couple walks into us, they walk out the door with a cost per person inclusive of everything.
Even
to
the
make
Rolls
the day
Royce.
happen. Everything.
Appetizers,
All of it. Everything they want.
food,
Everything they want.
booze.
All of it. All of it.
Nice.
Tax, gratuity, linen, staff. Everything that on my end to make your wedding happen, because it's a budget tool. We never know how many people they're going to have until we get the invitations back.
right.
And at the end of the day, it is. I mean, we're talking. I mean, dollars and cents. At the end of the day, it's trying to fit within a budget and let it make sense.
Weddings are expensive.
Yeah.
The Knot did a review that weddings in Cuyahoga County were averaging around $42,000. That's in total. That's for
Total, yeah,
everything,
it's about right.
dresses and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
That was average, correct?
That's an average,
Sure.
correct?
County.
That's
Sure.
definitely an average. So one thing that I know I cater towards, and I'm pretty sure Brian does as well, because we do limited amount of events, is we're specifically targeting these 150, 300 person massive ordeals.
Right.
Let's say for someone like me, I'm in my
Yeah.
late 30s. If I get married, I'm not having a 300 person wedding. You
Right.
know, it's probably
Right.
going to be a couple close friends, a
Yep.
couple close family members, probably be done on a Sunday. So let's say I have 25, 30 people.
Yep.
And I want to get married. Can
Absolutely.
I do that here,
You
or how does
absolutely
that
can.
work?
You absolutely can, and that's kind of the beauty of it, right? It's, we can do anything from a 2-person event to a 1,000-person event.
Okay.
Something really cool that we rolled out with, to talk about pricing, because again, with it falling into dollars and cents, it is expensive. I mean, there's really no way around it in this market when you're talking this caliber place and these caliber
It's a
vendors.
full-blown live
It's
production.
a full-blown thing. It's
it's
massive.
yeah.
There's a lot of pieces and parts that go into doing what we do, and you guys know that. And there's expense involved in that. Somebody's got to pay for it at the end of the day. Just business in general. Now, we rolled out what we call our all-inclusive micro wedding, which has been a massive success so far. So, I called Ryan one day and I said, listen, and I called everybody else that we partner with. I say, we have all of the pieces and parts to make an entire wedding happen from soup to nuts, right? We know Fridays and Saturdays kind of take care of themselves in the market.
Bread and butter.
Let's roll out something for 100 people in Gabriella's space, one of our smaller rooms, to your point, and just do everything out the door. So we came up with it. I mean, it's this simple. People think I'm crazy. I am kind of crazy, to be honest with you, but it works. So this is available on Thursdays and Sundays. It is $100 a person out the door, period. Period. You get all the flowers. You get the equipment from Ryan. You get the photo, the video. You get all the catering. There's no venue rental. You get the Chivari chairs, the ceremony, everything as if it's a Saturday wedding. Literally for
Just scaled down.
I mean, I say it's probably about half the cost. Probably a little bit more than that.
Yeah, this is for a Thursday or Sunday wedding.
This is for a Thursday or Sunday, because here's the thing, guys. You guys know this, right? And I tell every couple this. Nobody walks out of a wedding talking about the wedding date, right? They walk out talking about the experience that they had.
100%.
So get the experience, right? Not everybody is in a position to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and I respect that and I appreciate that. Let's spend a little bit less, get creative with doing it, but still get the top tier.
Sure.
Right. I'm not really. You said skimming back a little bit on the micro weddings. I'm really not doing that. They're getting everything as if it was a Saturday.
Right.
That's
It's
kind of
just
the
being
beauty of
done
it.
on a smaller scale.
It's done on a smaller scale.
So I can have
Yep.
25 people.
You got it.
I pay $100 a person.
That's it, literally.
And then there we go. So that's amazing.
You have 100
that's-
people. You owe me $10,000, and I give you everything. That's it.
Ultimately, it
That's
sounds
it.
like kind of what we talked about earlier is that you've, instead of dictating to the market or to the potential clients what's going to happen, you're offering what people already want.
Yeah.
What the market is kind of dictating to us as an industry. People are, I think we all went through this with, the pandemic and stuff like that, with, 2 years of not knowing exactly how things were going to operate. And I think we all did probably live some more micro weddings or weddings that were smaller scale.
Oh, yeah.
And then that became, that's kind of stuck. There's
Became a thing.
been very interested and that's a very curious, to kind of roll with that and be able to offer something that the industry wants, but you're able to kind of adapt,
100%.
Space. And I gotta say, it's nice. It seems like it's a really nice thing for you to have the space with the different rooms and to be able to utilize those efficiently and make that happen, but also deliver what people are already wanting and what it seems like they're going to want moving forward. I think we've all experienced
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm open about it, right? When I'm meeting with a couple guys, it's always one of those things in business where it's a fine line on how much you talk about what is your budget, right? Because again, at the end of the day, it's dollars and cents, and everybody's got to kind of fit within a window. Rich, poor, middle class, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got a number in their mind. I want to know what that number is, right? It sounds crazy, but I'm like, just tell me what you're comfortable spending, and I'll tell you what we can do to make your day special for that money.
that amount.
And then I'll show you, if you want to go above and beyond that, what you're going to get for that.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the beauty of it.
I like that. So what that shows is essentially, it almost sounds like, obviously you want to create their day or make their day amazing, but it almost sounds like you're more in the solution finding business than you are,
a good way to put
or
it.
maybe even both. But I hear solutions, right? Because
Yeah.
again, if I come with you, like, look, man, I really love this place. I really like, my lady loves it. Blah 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 blah. The vibe here is so dope, but we only got $12 grand to spend on this
Right.
thing. So I don't think I've ever seen or even heard, maybe you have, but I've never seen or heard of an event place like, okay, well, let's look at a Thursday or a Sunday.
Correct.
And this is what you're going to get for boom, 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 boom,
I want to
boom.
talk to
You know.
engaged couples for a second on this. So one of the things with the wedding business that's something to take into consideration, and this is going to be geared mainly towards people that are going to have smaller weddings or older couples or whatever it is. Chances are, and I've said this a million times, you can go to your job and work 7 days a week, where the people here sitting at this table, we mainly have two opportunities, which is on Friday and Saturday. So that demand is always so high because everyone wants a Friday or Saturday wedding.
For sure.
So just from supply and demand, and that's how price is dictated basically for everything. I don't care if it's, this computer or a cell phone or whatever it may be. When the demand's high, the price is going to be higher. So if I'm going to have a smaller wedding, or if I'm looking to do something in more of like a budget-friendly sense, I can switch the date, like you said, Thursday or Sunday, where nobody's getting married, and now all of a sudden my cost is going to get chopped in half because I'm not competing with 30 other couples trying to get that date at that specific venue. And venues are limited. And wedding season in Cleveland, you're talking about from April through November. That's our wedding season. So if you want to get married on a Saturday, you're looking at, what do we have, 36, 40 Saturdays in that time frame? So we have 36 to 40 opportunities to work. So simply just by switching that to a Thursday or a Sunday, you now open up so much more opportunity, and you're going to be able to really scale back. I know when a client hits me up, if they say, hey, I'm getting married on a Thursday, my price goes way down because my inbox is filled up with, Saturday, October 10th, I have 100 leads for that date or whatever, but, Thursday, there's none.
Yeah.
So one of my DJs he would be willing to go out and work for a lot less money because it's like, that's just icing on the cake for you at that point, so it's
'Cause trust
super
me,
smart idea.
I don't
It's-
mind making money on Thursday,
No,
Friday,
me
and
neither.
Saturday.
Nope. Monday to Sunday, my friend.
Listen, I have no problem whatsoever.
Now, something else, guys, that's really cool that we started introducing it. I found it in Chicago and New York and, some of the more trendier cities
Pizza.
out there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, we do it. We'll talk about that
I
in a
thought it
minute.
was going down a pizza route. Okay.
So,
go ahead.
and it came down to the money aspect, right? Call it you got a 250 person guest list, right? That's a big guest list nowadays.
Yeah.
You may not be able to afford to feed 250 people, right? Because on my end, the bulk of their purchase is the cocktail hour and the dinner, right? That's where a lot of their money is allocated to. So we came up with this concept of, well, we didn't come up with it, but we're just trying to reinvent it, of what is called the Wedding Crasher Invite.
Okay.
So follow me with this. I'm telling you, it works. I got a lot of weddings doing this. It works.
What's Owen Wilson's gonna come out of nowhere?
Yeah, we like that. Yeah. All right, so follow me with this, right?
Vince
So
Vaughn.
you make 2 lists, okay? You make your first list of guests that you can't get away with not inviting to your wedding for the full shebang,
Okay.
right? Your immediate family, call it 150 people. Now make your second list of all the party people, your college friends, your old roommates, whoever it is, whatever, coworkers, the people that you know are going to come and want to drink at the bar and enjoy an after party, right? So instead of spending the $140, $150, $160 a person on giving them the full shebang, invite them after dinner to enjoy the bar, to enjoy a late night snack, which, some of the taco places around town we work with, and Chick-fil-A, and just real fun ones. And then you have the rooftop after party.
Hold on a second.
It's genius.
Do you say you have Chick-fil-A as a
Yeah, we're
partner?
partnering with Chick-fil-A for late night snacks.
So for you Sunday weddings,
Except on Sundays. I apologize. can't get away with that.
Can't do that. It's one thing you gotta say no to.
Yeah.
but no, that's
That
awesome.
concept's
Dude.
catching fire, man. It's
See what I'm talking
catching
about?
fire.
That's solution. That's solution
is.
finding.
It is.
That is legitimately
It is.
solution finding,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love that.
But I tell
that's
everybody,
awesome.
don't do it for you can't invite 150 and then invite 5 wedding crasher people. They're going to
Yeah.
walk in and be like, you cheap asses. You don't want to pay them. Well, you got to do at least 30, 40, 50 people.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. And especially with the concept we have with the rooftop and the hotel, it all just kind of meshed. It all made sense.
Dude.
It's one of those. It feels like one of those situations where instead of trying to take a square peg and stuff it into a round hole, you take what you're given and you make it work. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Make it whatever size peg you want.
But I mean, you're catering to what the market's telling is what people are looking for, what they want. But it's not one of those things that's a fad that you're like changing the entire layout of the place or changing the structure of how things are work. You can still do the full scale, everything else is full scale, but you're just finding ways, like I was saying, solutions. Solutions to problems that are new problems or people are just realizing are actually issues and finding really smart solutions.
Absolutely.
That are going to cater to those lines and give people opportunities.
Absolutely.
And they can still do it sounds like an a la carte. I mean, you still have that a la carte essence where you're able to put together these things, but it's not going to be on a Saturday. It doesn't have to be on a Saturday.
100%.
Giving people options.
100%.
Options.
That's it.
So
Guys, I got to jump off. I got to run to a meeting.
Oh yes.
Hey,
yes.
thank
I'll
you
be
so
back if
much,
you guys
man.
are still here.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having us out.
And if I don't get an invite to IHOP
Appreciate
next time for some free
Hey man,
pancakes.
shit, we might
Probably next
we might
week.
go after this. Shit, we might have to go
Yeah,
after
we
this.
might be going for lunch. Thank you,
You
Hey
want
Kadar.
me
man,
this
thank
thing?
you, Kadar. Appreciate you, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
guys
That
hit
is
that mute button,
Kadar,
it'll go
the
red.
owner of the Aviator, man.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
All right. Thanks, bro. Is there any more waters out here?
Yeah, this one right behind you.
Let me get one of those. So that was Kadar again, guys. We're filming from the Aviator in Cleveland, formerly known as the 100th Bomb Group. And, one of the things about Kadar is he's so passionate. And like you kept saying, solutions. I mean, this guy's just figuring out problems before people realize their
It's unreal.
problems.
The shit that I never even thought
And
of.
coming to them with an answer. I mean, it's just brilliant. And I'm so pumped to see
Yeah, man,
this
it's
place
literally things
take
that
off.
never crossed my mind that he said that they will address. So it's literally like, and now I have no problem with like, even though my endorsement doesn't go far, but I have no problem with like endorsing this personally because it's like you walk in here and from what he's saying is like there's just so many different ways that we could figure out this, like they say, this, we got to get from point A to point B, and there's so many ways of getting there.
It sounds an awful lot like just from the conversations we've had, whether on mic or off, and just from the experience of time being here, they've thought of most things. That's the impressive part is somebody coming from his position, and you talk kind of joke about him being younger. It doesn't show. I mean, this is somebody who's very business savvy, very business oriented, but also very passionate at the same time. That's a great combination for when it comes to couples and clients. Whether it's couples that want to have a wedding here, or a corporate event, or whatever's going to happen here, the restaurant, everything. They've thought of these things and really put the personal touches into them. And are very cognizant of what people are looking for and being able to provide that. And it's impressive. I got to say, I'm really
Very
impressed.
impressive.
Like I said, my wife and I were very impressed with the first impression when we first walked in, and again, that hasn't changed. It just keeps getting better. The more we get to know Kadar and kind of his background and his passion, it's very like-minded individuals. I think we're all very passionate about what we do, and we love what we do. And our ultimate goal is to serve the client.
Yeah.
And it's nice to come across other people, other vendors in the industry, whether it be venues or entertainers, that kind of stuff. It's nice to come across people that have that kind of passion, that kind of drive, are driven by pleasing couples, pleasing clients, pleasing customers, and that kind of stuff. And everything's kind of around that, designed around that.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to have some food here. When the restaurant opens. And moreover, I'm dead serious though. We really got to go upstairs and check this place out, right?
Well, yeah. So upstairs right now, it's under
I know it's under construction,
renovations.
but
yeah.
You can.
Unless you want to fall through the roof.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, but he said rooftop, and the first thing came to mind. I was like, oh my god, the summer's about to pull up on us real quick.
We got to get.
That's
in
rooftop parties. You
We'll
can literally
here.
have a kickback every Friday night. People.
We can even do the after parties. A client has her wedding, and then a lot of these couples. So from my experience, right? Because I think I booked out like 30 or 40 weddings for this year here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the couples, what they're doing is they're doing their wedding here, August, September wedding. Their wedding ends at 11. Then they go upstairs for their after party. And I already have equipment in here. So I'm like, why can't I just have a little setup up there? I could just unplug my laptop, go upstairs. Now Karen can throw ass all night and Grandma's gone to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So
throw the balloon.
It just makes sense. Or vice versa. But no, that's super exciting. One of the things I want to talk about too, guys, kind of to shift the wheels here, wedding news. So you just talk about disasters and weddings. So the most recent one that we have is police say they interviewed 150 uncooperative wedding guests at the Crystal Grand Banquet Hall, where they say a brawl broke out and gunshots were fired off at a wedding. The last one, the bride and groom, we talked about, they went to jail. It was a domestic violence dispute. So this one here, a fight broke out at 8 p.m. and someone started popping rounds off during the altercation. No one was hurt though, but just crazy shit, man.
So
Crazy.
what happened? Like, why would? Look, man. Anyways,
What do you do if you're DJing and a brawl breaks out? What do you do personally?
Dude?
How do you react to that?
I have to be in the moment.
Play knuck if you buck. Tear the club up, something.
Yeah, man. I'm throwing my balls, shaking my dress. Dude, that's a very.
Could you imagine being at a wedding and someone starts popping rounds off? Like,
Bruh.
I stop. If something like that crazy breaks out and everybody's brawling, I'm stopping, I'm protecting my laptop, and I'm getting out of there as fast as I can. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It's a wrap.
That's the idea.
Wedding's not going to start back up after that.
It's just like, man, what do you?
Do you have anything in your contract saying like you can stop at any point in time if you feel unsafe or
There's
same.
protections built in just for that. I mean, life is precious.
People are consuming massive amounts of alcohol too at these events. So
For things to happen, there's we just from a legal standpoint, there's got to be protections. There has to be things that are more important. I mean, it's certain things come first. If people
absolutely.
Or somebody tries to physically assault you or is harassing you or there has to be a control. And from that standpoint, there has to be a protection in place. And we certainly always if something like that. I've obviously never had anything like that happen. Nothing that severe. But if somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing or something that we would consider that's hey, we'll approach either the venue if it's something the venue can control it or maybe a planner or coordinator or something like that. We always try to avoid going to the client first.
Sure.
Or maybe they give us a point person or somebody we have. But if we have to, we'll approach and say, hey, Uncle, what's his face is being belligerent, like feeling me up or feeling
Right. One thing I wanted to kind of piggybacking off of that. I'm sure everybody, unless you're living in a cave somewhere, we all heard the whole thing that happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith. One of the things I'm not even going to discuss that or whether it's real or whether it's fake. I watched a YouTube video from a fellow DJ yesterday, and he was basically saying, what this is doing is this is making it acceptable for when somebody feels offended to get physically assaulted. And the way he related that to DJs was, let's say I'm playing an inappropriate song. Let's say the bride says, WAP is on my must play list, and I'm DJing and I play WAP, and that offends. Drunk Aunt Karen comes over, being Karen, and 15 physically hits me or something, or, you know, the level of disrespect in that moment, whether it was right or wrong, or he was talking about his wife, or he should have done it or shouldn't have done it, the fact that that was done and not a single thing happened, right? I'm performing and then I'm physically assaulted and then I just keep performing. Shout out to Chris Rock. I mean, I think he handled that whole entire situation amazing. You know, he was kind of thrown off for 30, 45 seconds, but from there he pretty much jumped back into it. What's your guys' take on this whole situation? What do you think? I mean,
You want to go over? Or you want me to dive right in?
I'll let you go first, Brian, because
So my first response to that, my first answer to that is it's completely unrelated because we're not them. That's Hollywood. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars these people are invested in. These are theaters are life. That's the whole show is being at the forefront. So we can't relate. I think people understand what I'm saying when I say this. We don't live the same life as these people who have private jets and multiple homes and have security detail and have, you know, private this and private that. They're looked at. It's a different echelon. They're people just like we are, but the way they handle themselves, the way they go about their lives is completely different. As seen by the fact that a grown man went up and slapped another grown man, physically assault battery essentially, and nothing happened. If that was you, me, or anybody else that didn't have hundreds of millions of dollars, or wasn't about to win an Oscar, or wasn't world renowned or world known or whatever, and then all the other details and stuff that go along with that, if that was you or I, we would have been on our face in cuffs, you know, in a cop car most likely, in any one of these instances. So a situation like you're talking about on a dance floor, I do feel like there's an opportunity where that may lead to something like that, people being emotional, feel like they have the right to, well, you offended me.
you offended me, and this is acceptable because people are seeing this happen.
And that's a huge problem with it, and I'm glad that we kind of touched on this for a second because I wanted to be able to say this. And I have two boys, and I'm married, of course, and a beautiful wife, and I'm raising my two sons. And I've seen, you know, I'm on social media just like everybody else, and the real bad part for me is that what I've seen a lot of is that people are not only ignoring this or pretending like it's not a big deal, but condoning it and acting like this is chivalrous. And I was raised, and I can only speak for myself, I was raised by my parents, you know, my mom and my grandmothers and stuff, and I was raised to be a gentleman. I was raised to be chivalrous. I was raised to, and chivalry is, and I talk about this with my wife, my significant other, you know, I open the doors for her. I get her things. And that's because I love her and I care about her and I want to do things for her. I feel like that's my role. And that's, I'm
You
not
respect
telling
her.
anybody else,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm not telling anybody else they need to do this, but going up and slapping another man because he made a joke, and you have to understand, Chris Rock is a professional comedian, another world-renowned individual, somebody who's made tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and is known across the world, around the world, for being exactly what he was doing. He was literally doing his job. Whether people like it or not, you see another plane taking off?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Whether people like it or not, that's what he is, that's how he got paid, that's how he's made his living, that's who he is and what he does. And that's an art form. Comedy is an art form. And let's just be honest, I love comedy. I'm a huge comedy person. And there's nothing taboo. There's nothing off limits when it comes to comedy. That's the beauty of comedy in a nutshell, is that there is no such thing as something that's off limits or that's too taboo to talk about or to laugh about or to make a joke about. Now, does that mean that there's not going to be reactions or people are going to be offended? Of course not. But the idea is that's what that soapbox or that's what that position, that career is. And that's exactly what Chris Rock was paid to do, to be there that night. And he's I'm trying to think of he's a provocateur. He's a professional provocateur. He's trying to get a reaction. He's trying to get a rise.
Ego popper.
He's trying to get the oohs and ahs and the laughs and he's trying to get a response. Now, in this
He's
situation,
trying to be controversial. It's his job.
He's a provocateur. He's trying to provoke a response, provoke some kind of
He got a response.
He did, but there's more to the story that goes. There's a lot deeper. We all know who Will Smith is, and again, like I said, one of the most well-known actors in the world. But there's also been a lot of private life and him and his wife and stuff that came out that I don't know why they decided to do that or what the purpose was, but there's been a lot of conversation about whether he knew this or knew that, and that this response was, I'm just going to be real honest, that to me was an emotionally broken man, like an emotionally damaged person, trying to save face or trying to...
There was a breaking point.
And there was a breaking point.
There was a breaking
That's
point.
not, ultimately, that was not chivalry. That's not chivalrous. I've seen women respond like, get yourself a Will Smith, or, you guys need somebody that would, stand up. Look, if somebody came up and assaulted my wife or did something, there's an equal response that follows with that. You have the right to defend your friends and family, people that you love and care about. Nobody was hurt. There was no, that wasn't a situation where Chris Rock didn't physically or sexually assault Will Smith's wife to the point where he had to defend her honor or defend. he made a joke, and Will Smith even laughed at it. I've seen the broadcast and watched the video.
Sure.
It was a response that he felt like he needed to do something to justify things that had happened up to that point. It just was an emotionally damaged person to go up there and act completely, what I think, completely out of character.
I do too. I think ego has a lot to do with it.
It's huge.
I mean,
this, again, emotionally damaged, emotionally broken person. And I've had this conversation with my wife, and hopefully she doesn't mind me talking about this. We talked about this, and I can't imagine being in a situation where, as a husband, you feel the need to justify or show, look, I love you, I care about you, and in order to show that, I have to go slap somebody and make a joke about you. Like, that seems like a high level of insecurity, or there was something way more to that. Like I said, that emotionally broken person who's, he didn't know how else to respond. He couldn't just sit there and take it. He sat there and take it. He's been sitting there taking it for quite a while.
For years.
Memes and jokes and
And the
everything
thing
else
too,
come out. It's really sad.
when you look at, the Oscars or the Grammys or any of these award shows, the amount of production, look at what we do with weddings, the amount that goes into it just to have a small private live production. Now think of something that's known on a global scale. This is written, this is rehearsed, this is practice, every single thing coming out of, I don't believe Chris, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't believe Chris Rock's up there just speaking off of the cuff. I mean, he's looking at a teleprompter, every line he's saying, every second of that show is pre-rehearsed, and, there's writers that write these jokes. It's probably something he didn't even come up with, you know what I mean?
I actually think I think that joke at that time was actually just ad-lib, because you saw when he was speaking, he was obviously in the teleprompter prior to, and then when he went into that joke, he kind of went off script for a little bit, and then he went back to the camera. He was trying to go back to the camera, to the teleprompter. As he was trying to go back, that's when he realized Will was coming up.
I don't think it is. These commercial breaks, the way everything is timed and programmed, they have this show programmed down to the second. I just don't think that there's time where maybe Chris says, hey, give me 30 seconds here, and I'm just going to kind of talk or
That
fly
could very
off the
well- that
cuff
could be
or
it.
something along those lines. So I guess maybe it could have happened, but
Here's
Live too, so that, you have to do
this is
it's not like it's
and that's why it's so
Yeah.
pre-rehearsed.
so
it's a live production.
So this is my take on the whole thing, man. So I hear what you're saying. You shouldn't have to. Well, first of all, let me say that, yeah, we understand. I agree that there's more to the backstory as to why that was the breaking point, right?
That was just
That
breaking
was,
point.
it wasn't one joke.
I don't think it was
it
that
wasn't one
incident
joke
that
did it.
fired
It
him
was
off, right?
I'm sure it was just a buildup of all these years.
That was the last straw.
Yeah, it was a buildup of all these years of shit happening, and it was just like, okay, now he found the reason, and then he just reacted. Okay, and we're all human. Hell, I have moments where I hold things in, and then I just erupt. Like we all do it. So that's my take on that. Now, as far as, and this is a position I made on Sunday night, I doubled down last night, and I'm gonna triple down right now. Oops, can't hit that. I'm gonna triple
Mike,
down.
it's just ringing in my ears every time.
I'm gonna
it's
triple
talking.
down right now. I get that that he's a comedian, and there are, he tells jokes for a living. I get that. That's cool. However, for me, and I'm speaking for myself, I am very protective of the women in my life. Very. You can ask anybody that knows me outside of you guys, and they will be like, it could be my cousin, my sister, my mom, don't get me started with Ava. Like, even my ex-wife, can't stand her, can't stand a bitch. But I'm protective of her because, again, that's an extension of my daughter, right?
Right.
So, very, very, very protective. So, for me, when he did that, I saw that would be my response. I'm in your mouth. If you coming at me or at mine, you can talk about me all you want. You can rag, talk. I'm gonna come right back at you. I'm gonna throw them right back at you. I'm gonna throw the jabs right back. We can go back and forth. We can make it fun, and I'll laugh at myself because I can laugh at myself. But when you go to somebody that's more in a vulnerable position, like a Jada, and when I say vulnerable in regard to Jada, is because she has alopecia and she might be sensitive of it. She talks about it, but she might be sensitive. I don't know. But if my daughter's with me, or let's say my sister's with me, and somebody's making a joke at the expense of her condition that she has no control over, right? And by the way, yes, we all saw that Will was laughing at first. He was giggling. But you know what? I've also heard jokes that were said to me, and my first thought is, I'm going to laugh. And then it sets in. And I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck did this? Like, what did this person just say, right? So I think, I can't speak for Will, but I think what happened was when he heard the joke, it was funny, and then he thought about it. Obviously, we all saw Jada's face, too. The camera goes away from Will. They might have had eye contact where she was upset about it, and he reacted. I'm going to do the same thing and react. Now, on that scale, am I going to go in front of millions of people? Probably not. But I'm still going to, I'm in your mouth. I'm coming for you. And because, again, you know the situation. You know the sensitivity of the situation. So that does not give you, just even if you're a comedian or not, I don't care for me personally, I don't care who you are, that does not give you the green light to go at somebody when they're at their lowest point. If you wanted to come at me, hey, come at me. We could talk. We can go, like I said, we can go back and forth. We can play we can play the roast game, but don't go at mine, whether it be any woman in my life, and think that. I had one lady, dude, this is, I was maybe a senior in high school, maybe in college already. I can't remember, but.
Before you go into the story, can I ask a question based on that response? And this is why I kind of preface this by saying.
I was going to ask the same question. I already know what you're going to ask.
Off the top is the fact that we're different. We're different than these individuals. So, and this is a genuine question. And the reason I ask is because in my mind, what happened, the reaction to that didn't fit what was done. Chris Rock didn't slap Jada Smith in the mouth. He got smacked in the mouth for it. Now that's two totally different situations. Chris Rock told a joke. In that situation, if it were you, if someone made a joke, whether it's off color, somebody made something, whether it's a personal thing, somebody that's offended, or any kind of joke. I mean, you can get offended by any kind of joke. It doesn't matter whether it's about something like a health condition or something like that. Let's just say generally speaking.
Or if you don't, the person next to you can get offended.
My genuine question is, you're going to go to jail. If you walk up and smack somebody like that, you're getting arrested. So you're willing, if someone makes a joke that's just, you just don't like or offended. And this is my concern, I guess, is that that's the reaction, that's the response from people, is that I would do that too. But the difference is, you're going to have a different result. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still personally.
If we're downtown at the comedy club and you do that,
If somebody makes a joke at your expense, you're going to go up and, because you're going to be treated, you're willing to risk your freedom, you're willing to risk tens of thousands of dollars, potentially legal fees, over somebody cracking a joke about the way somebody's hair looks or something. And it's a genuine question, because we would be viewed differently and treated differently in that same situation.
No, for sure.
well, Brian, I'll see you in G.I. Jane too.
No, I
mean, you got the G.I. Jane haircut.
No, I mean, so I get what you're saying, right? Again, we have to take things into consideration because we have a lot to lose, and I totally understand that because I'm not going to get the same benefits as a Will Smith would get. You know what I mean? I would not get it anywhere near. However, again, there is a line. Now, all right.
I agree. I think there's a line, but I think for me that line is moved drastically.
But here's the thing. There is a line. Now, okay. All right. Me personally, will I just haul off and hit somebody? It depends on how deep that you're cutting. That's number one. All right. If you're cutting too deep, I might. If you're not cutting too deep, I'm at least coming at you, and I'm gonna let you know what the deal is. See, I come from a place, and like again, being from New York, right? And I grew up in a family where we're not fighters.
You already explained it when you said growing up in New York. We know how y'all are.
We're not fighters, right? We're not fighters, but we also are very protective of our own. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, if whoever is coming at one of mine, and when I say one of mine, like the women of my life, one of my sisters or whatever, I'm going to address it. I'm going to, and that's just nature. Now again, if you cutting deep and you doubling down, and then I look at my, whoever the person is, and I see that this person is really uncomfortable and is upset and is crying, I'm coming for your mouth. And that's because now it's like you see that it's hurting the person. You see it, and you're still going. Whether you're a comedian or not, it's like, all right, at some point you gotta back off. Now, this again, we don't know what happened prior to Sunday, and we know from obviously what we've seen with that red table talk and all that bullshit and entanglements and all that shit. We see that, right? But we don't know what else is going on. I was hearing the other day that I guess Jada and Chris Rock were dated back in the day, right? So we don't know what that's all about. We don't know what kind of reservation Will has toward him because he dated his wife back in the day. You know what I mean?
So follow-up question for that question. So in
I never had to do it. No.
So, but
Because people look at me like, no, I'm like, go fuck.
is that something that has changed now just because of that incident? And now you feel that that's justified in if that happened, if somebody did something like that, I feel like it's justified to do that. Or did you feel that way prior to even happening?
It was just seeing it happen, seeing it unfold. I was like, and as I started to let it set in, I'm like, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with how he. And again, yeah, he can get away with a lot more than I can. But I honestly had no issue with it. And of course, yeah, there was people like, oh, shame on Will, shame on Will. I'm like, all right, cool. But at the same time, it's like, man, you gotta draw. You're right. As a man, go and hit another man is not okay. I'll give you that. But at the same time, a message has to be sent, man. There's a line that you cannot cross, and I'm not going to let you keep on, habitually crossing that line and me not doing something. So at some point, I have to address it and be like, yo, whether that's me putting my hands on you or at least approaching you, like, yo, you got to chill with all that.
I feel like Chris Rock was the scapegoat and just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, said the wrong thing, and got the full brunt.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And
what happened.
that's what I'm saying. We don't know what happened prior to Sunday.
But we know that it's enough.
Hell.
That was the cumulative response. That was the cumulative reaction. He felt he had no choice, and that was just, like I said, I've said it multiple times, but that was an emotionally damaged individual.
Honestly.
He felt like he was in a corner, had no choice but to respond.
It should have been August Alsina.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go that route.
It should have been August Alsina that he
The
popped.
way that I personally feel about the situation, just from what we know, is that Will Smith, obviously, he's in the light constantly. Like you said, he's one of the most well-known, well-respected actors, producer, musician. He's known. And so when you're in that spotlight, especially when you're in a spotlight where you're being idolized by children, right? Because he does a lot of stuff for kids and a lot of like family movies and that sort of stuff. It's just, number one, it's completely out of character for you. It makes you look really bad. Whether it's justified or not, it doesn't look good for Will Smith to play that role when he's that type of person. And you also have to think, people posted a meme of The Rock up there saying, "Oh, okay, Jade, I'll see you in G.I. Jane 2," and it's a picture of Will Smith laughing so hard. Like, I don't think that would have happened had that not been Chris Rock. And the other thing is, like you were saying, there's a line for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Do I personally feel that physical assault was warranted based off of those remarks? I don't. I just don't think. I don't think that was justified in that instance. Now, my issue that I have with this whole incident, for the people who say it is justified, is, like you were saying, Chris Rock is a comedian. If he's not pushing you or your girl or your daughter's buttons, it's going to be him pushing someone else's buttons. So therefore, does Chris Rock have to stop doing what he's doing because ultimately somebody's going to be offended? Because if he's not doing that, now it could be about anything, the gay community, or look at everything that Dave Chappelle just went through with his Netflix series. Mm-hmm. Someone's always going to be offended, but that's what comedians do because they make light of a very uncomfortable situation, right? So, yeah. And so if it's not me he's offending, it's going to be somebody else. I'm a pretty lighthearted person, and I always try to look at it from the lighter side. And I don't think that he was digging Jada apart. He wasn't sitting there for 5 minutes talking about Jada and just picking on her and picking on her, because right before he made the Jada comment, he was picking on other people.
He was picking on Will and somebody else.
So I think it's just one of those things where I think Chris's intentions were well, but again, Will was having a bad day or something was going on, and I think that's just the result of it.
It could be so much more behind before Sunday that we don't. Something could have happened right before the red carpet before he got there that was just bothering him. That where it just took that one little nudge for him to just go over the edge. But I don't know. Again, just based on that. I mean, I personally don't have a problem with it. And good on Chris for not reacting, because again, now here's the thing: if I was one that got hit, of course we'd be fighting right there on the stage. That's not even so. Good on Chris for not reacting, but
Chris handled that amazing.
Yes, he did.
One take. I've heard several different takes. A lot of course, everybody we're sitting here talking about like what the hell do we have to do with it? But I mean, I've heard lots of takes from lots of different people that just are giving their own opinions about it. And somebody said, you know, it's pretty obvious. It looks pretty obvious that Chris Rock's he's been out of the hood for a while. He's had money for a while because his hands never came up.
They never came up.
Yeah.
He leaned in, he tucked his chin. He knew he was about to get hit.
He seemed like he prepped for it. Like he didn't know if he was going to get a laugh or a kiss or a smack. But I'm telling you what, if somebody comes
lot of this-
like that in a live setting, like I don't know about you, but my hands are
Oh
coming.
no, yeah. Or at very minimum, I'm taking a step back. Yeah.
I want to play the conspiracy theorist here for a second because there's a lot of talk
There's
on
so many.
was this
conspiracies.
pre-rehearsed? Did Will and Chris both know about this? You look at the trending, the downward spike. I have an image of it. We can bring it up on the
the
screen of
viewership?
the ratings of viewership, and it's pretty amazing to take a look at this. Hold on, guys. Give me just a quick second here. I'm going to bring this up right here. So you can go ahead and put this on my screen. Yeah, go ahead. So this is the viewership, and when you look at these numbers,
on,
the drastic
there's nothing
difference.
There's no feed.
No feed? I don't know if we came unplugged. I don't know how come. We should be plugged in, right?
No, it's still showing. No
Try a
feed.
different channel. Hold on, give it a second here. Let me flip this. Let's go ahead and try that again now.
No.
Huh. I don't know why it's working. Anyways, we're going from average of 45 million down to 10 million people. Oscars are becoming pretty irrelevant at this point in time. Nobody's really tuning in how they used to and watch it because before we used to have to go to a movie theater to get this experience, and now it's Netflix, and I just watched the new Spider-Man with my kid on Amazon Prime. So it warrants the question, was this pre-rehearsed? The way that Chris Rock braced for impact, he didn't do anything, and Will was kind of laughing right after it happened, but again, everyone acts differently. Do you guys think that this was set up in some way, form, or fashion? Because now, from a marketing standpoint, next thing you know, they can be booking like the next Jake Paul fight where it's Chris Rock versus Will Smith, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. Do you think any of that was done, or do you think this was like an organic experience between them on the fly, or do you think that this was premeditated in some form or fashion?
I've heard all those conspiracies, right?
Sure.
And then I have a friend of mine who has a friend that works in media and actually she wasn't there at the awards, but she had people that were there, and she said this was definitely real. Like she said there was no. Yeah,
I know it was real, but do you think that Chris and Will talked about this prior to?
I don't think so.
Because I'll tell you what, I'd
what's also
take
funny-
a snap to be completely relevant throughout the whole entire world.
What's also funny is that Chris didn't.
Right, but I mean, well,
Chris didn't press charges. So your thought. Only reason why I'm not dismissing it is because Chris did not press charges.
well, here's why I believe this. Security never came up at any point in time.
Ever.
Somebody got physically assaulted. We've all seen the videos after and what was said. There was never a blip. There was never let's cut to a commercial. There was never any of that. They censored out the volume because they're recording like a minute behind, for when someone swears so they can mute it out. But there was never a stop in that. And just the body language to me, first of all, if I'm that upset and I'm going to go up on stage and physically assault somebody, how come Will didn't close his fist? How come he just didn't punch him and knock him out? Why was it a real light smack right in towards his microphone so that you could hear it, And there's a lot of things to me that say, if I'm somebody super famous and my relevancy is going down and I'm slowly becoming not relevant anymore, why wouldn't I want to boost my numbers? Why wouldn't I want to boost my followers? Why wouldn't I want to boost this big tour I'm about to go on if I'm Chris Rock? Why wouldn't I want to do that? Each of these guys have gained millions of followers since this happened because now what they did is people are siding. It's like Trump or Biden, they're as they come up to run for their election, more people are going to follow one or the other. Oh yeah, that's protect your woman, and I'm going to go and follow him, or good job in commenting on Instagram or whatever. Chris Mann's the man. He handled that like a gentleman, blah, 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 blah. And it puts both of these people completely back in a spotlight.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Like I said, the theories, the conspiracy theories are there.
For sure, it's
And
a
like-
conspiracy
and-
theory.
and-
And by the way,
and-
I'm not saying that I think that.
Yeah,
but,
no, but they're out there.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm
like I
just
said,
playing devil's advocate.
for me, at least, like if I'm Chris, I'm at very minimum taking a couple steps back once he's in my personal space. And I might say something like, "What are you doing?"
And you
Or,
might put your hands up.
"Oh
when
yeah,
someone
I might put
swings
my
at you.
hand up on his chest, like
You're
go
not
back
going to
up,"
put your
or-
hands behind your back.
Right.
Tuck your chin. He knew he was getting smacked.
Yeah.
He tucked his chin.
Yeah.
And he was leaning forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me where it gets a little weird. Why would somebody do that? You know, because they knew it was about to boost ratings. In that moment, was he thinking, "Oh, it's about to go down. I'm just going to take this because now it's about to be news on the front of every news outlet that there is."
Honestly, I feel at this point, I almost feel bad for comedians because you're going to have some crazy idiot that's going to go up on stage and be like, hey,
That's my fear.
somebody's gonna
That's
get
my
punched in
fear.
the face or shot or stabbed or something like that, 'cause someone will escalate.
Any
It
live
escalates.
performers at risk now because
That's any-
that's
any-
now
that's- but that's
acceptable.
That's any live. Sorry, that's any live performance though, like that. Because I mean, it's just that we see it now because it is Will Smith and Chris Rock. This is not new. This is not like something that just happened and then now it's.
I mean,
gonna be the
Kanye
trend.
snatched the
This is
mic
not
from
new.
Taylor Swift, but
This isn't new, but this isn't. I mean, I in a sense, this is new because nothing happened. He wasn't tackled.
right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I walked up by him, so let's go to a concert. I'm say go see my favorite band or whatever, and you know what? I just get a little overzealous, had a couple too many drinks. I go up on stage and try to like sing and dance with the leaders.
You're getting bombarded.
I'm getting tackled.
Yep.
I'm getting headlocked and I'm getting dragged off stage.
Yep.
Like, that's just what happens. That's what we would expect. This sets a precedent. Like people are going to be like, well, Will Smith got away with it. Like, no, you're not Will Smith.
Right.
And Will Smith shouldn't have gotten away with it.
Right.
That's why I wanted to start that when you asked me that. I just don't want. I really feel like people are going to see that and think like that's. It's not. I don't think it's manly. I don't think it's chivalrous. I think that's the complete opposite of that. There's other ways it could have been handled that would have avoided that even happening to begin with. Had this individual done the gentlemanly thing or done the right thing, he could have eliminated the situation. Or maybe he shouldn't be with his wife, or maybe I don't know. There's a whole lot of other things that happen, but this doesn't solve any of the problems.
I think that's irrelevant. I think whether it was warranted or not, take that out of the picture. Whether someone physically assaulted his wife or not, and then he went up and hit him. When Will Smith physically assaulted Chris Rock, absolutely nothing was done. And that's where the failure is in this. Nothing was done.
Mm-hmm.
And so what kind of tone does that set, you know? And I fear for comedians now, you know, these guys that are, you know, hustling, out gigging every weekend down at the Improv and trying to come up and become known. Like, what can you talk about and what can't you talk about?
There shouldn't be anything, and that's and comedians will talk about this.
It should be off limits. There should be nothing off limits.
Yes. I mean, they're going. I mean,
Because they're real topics.
comedians are going to say whatever the fuck they want to say. I mean, that's yeah, and that's fine. Again, I don't know. Just for me, I thought it was his wife. He's like, no, we ain't gonna be having that kind of lip, and he popped him. Whether he went too far, that's nothing. But I just think that the idea of I'm gonna go handle the situation, and I'm doing it in front of everybody, so there's no ambiguity if it's not staged.
Correct.
You know, so there's no ambiguity. There's no, you know, nobody's questioning my motive. Nah, I'm gonna let it be known. And you know, again, people also got to realize too. Let's just say it's not staged, man. People are people, dude. You know, I'm like, I get it. Like Will Smith is Will Smith, hundreds of millions of dollars and whatnot, and box office, juggernaut.
Guru,
but
yeah.
but
It's funny that you say that. My wife and I actually had this conversation, not to start interrupting,
There you go.
but you made a great point, and this is a conversation my wife and I had privately after this happened and it took place, and I kind of conveyed that to her. It's like, picture this for a second. I said, we're all people, we're all humans, right? I said, we assume, depending on where you stand or where you are in position, there's somebody out there who's struggling to make it or whatever, and they can't understand how somebody who's middle class is like, I wish I could be this middle class. I don't know what their life's like. I don't know what their lifestyle's like. They can't understand that kind of thing. And then you scale that to the likes of a Will Smith or a Bill Gates or a Bezos or something like that. We can't even begin to fathom the lifestyles that people live or the kind of money they access.
Or the pressure these people have.
Yeah.
All those
The
things.
responsibility.
This is, in a case of like Will Smith, this has been a lifetime. This person has been living this style of life and been at the elevated position that he's in. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody watches.
From the time he was a teenager, yeah.
Exactly, for a lifetime. So this is like this person's normal life is what we is his normal life to him. That's normal. He has a level of normalcy,
Right.
sure, and it's just what his life is. So when you take that into account and you even like, you find an equilibrium between like what our normal everyday life is and you equate that to his normal life, okay, now you kind of get to an equilibrium where you understand he's just a dude just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
So his response was a natural, he deals with emotional things and situations just like any other person would, regardless of the millions of dollars, regardless of the
Right.
Hollywood status. He was hurt, like you could tell, like he was broke, like that whole entanglement thing. I don't know when that took place, that interview and all this other
No,
stuff. This was, it feels like to me,
2020.
from a position of a man, like he was completely emasculated in front of millions of people. Like this is also another thing that we don't really pay attention to. Like that's his normal life, is to have every bit of his business just shared publicly.
And I blame that on his wife. That's his wife has a lot.
He should have left her ass a long time ago.
That's another discussion. That's between them.
Yeah.
They're grown adults or whatever.
Again, you don't know what's behind. You don't know what's behind doors. Yeah, behind the
But what
cameras.
I do from man to man, from a male perspective, I can understand where he felt like that was his opportunity to potentially save face, and that's how he like, hey, look,
Right, because he didn't do anything when she was with Ashton, or what's his name?
August Alsina.
August,
I
yeah.
got completely emasculated and embarrassed, and still continue to stay in the relationship or whatever. I don't know what their dynamics are, and it's irrelevant to me at this point because I don't know them. They're not my personal friends. I don't have a personal relationship with them. But what I saw was a grown man trying to find a way to save face, and again, like I said, it was just emotionally
Right.
damaged or psychologically damaged, and that was his decision. He made that choice to go up there and do that. Like, I really wonder what was going through his mind the instant it happened, after it happened. Like, what did I just do? Was that the wrong thing?
Oh, you
I'm
definitely.
so curious as
You
to
could
wonder
see
what
that he
going on
was.
inside.
I think regardless whether it was negative what he was thinking or positive, I think for sure in that moment when Chris got hit and Will hit him, they both knew they were about to be blowing up all over every outlet, every social media. Everyone's going to be talking. Look at, we're a wedding podcast and we're sitting here talking about it.
Dude,
They're
it was on
becoming-
Sports Center.
I mean, yeah, that move, right or wrong, staged or not, it was brilliant. I mean, just from a marketing standpoint, what happened was brilliant. But now you just open this can of worms of why was nothing done?
As a DJ, let's say,
Yeah.
I don't know what let's just assume or imagine there's a pinnacle of DJ.
Sure.
You're trying to achieve this award or this lifetime
Sure.
recognition of this thing, right? There's this thing that everybody understands that if you get awarded this thing, it means you've been the best of the best or you're the top echelon. Like there's
Right.
not very many people that fall into that category. If you knew you were going to get that one night, would you overshadow that by slapping some guy?
That's the whole.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
that's
he
part
has
of
so
the
many.
gray
How many
area. That's
Oscars
the
does
gray
Will
area.
Smith have?
This is only one.
Okay.
This is his first one.
That's what's amazing about it. This is
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
had multiple. I mean, we've all seen his movies and stuff like that.
He should have gotten several by now, but
But didn't. And
Didn't,
And
yeah.
I'm sure Leonardo DiCaprio would say the same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's all these guys that have had these situations. This was his first Oscar. His first time he won, and I think everybody understood that. I think it was assumed that he was going to win. And there was even Chris Rock telling jokes about that, like Javier Bardem was.
yeah, he's like
all
he's
these
hoping that
things,
Will Smith will win.
Yeah. So I mean, imagine being in a position like that and then choosing to do what you did anyway.
That's crazy.
That's what that's
And
what I
and
mean.
here's
As far as from a stage
and here's
standpoint,
yeah,
why would you do that?
I agree.
Your own, like, I'm about to be
It was almost a
like, I
foregone
worked
conclusion
out-
that you were winning
I
it.
worked out
Yeah.
so long and so hard to try to achieve this thing.
Let's look at us.
Yeah.
We're small business owners, and I am nowhere even close to being on a Will Smith level. Yet, I have to be very careful of the things that I do, the things that I say, the posts that I make on social media. When I'm scrolling through my news feed and someone posts something that I disagree with, I cannot go on there and be like, "You're an idiot. That's wrong." Why can't I do that? This person can click on my profile, Google my business, start talking shit. Right. So,
If you choose to do that.
and that's my point. I have to be so careful, and on how I tread, and the things that I do and say and how I move. And I'm not famous at all, but I can't jump on Facebook today and start posting about politics because I have hundreds of clients, which they all have differing opinions, and someone might be like, "Oh, well, fuck this dude," or this or that. I mean, I'm going to be who I'm going to be to an extent. I have foul mouth
But
things along those lines, but
you gotta just look at that line. You cannot keep crossing.
yeah,
either one.
I cannot cross a line. I can't go and get in a fight or
Think
like,
about what you're saying. That you're highlighting what I was talking about earlier as far as being different.
Sure.
You're highlighting the fact that this individual could pretty much do anything that he wants and still benefit.
and he can because he's that big. He's that big.
Consider even think about the repercussions or what was going to happen because it wasn't even important. He was focused on whatever he was focused on at the
He's already hit his pinnacle. I mean, he's already been there.
And well, I mean, and these guys are both still fairly young. I mean, they can still perform for 10, 15, 20,
Sure.
30 years.
He's gonna be like Morgan Freeman.
But my point is, like, that's the difference. If you did something that was so outlandish and you did something that people thought was offensive,
It would crush me.
It could potentially ruin your business.
It would.
Destroy your reputation, et cetera, et cetera. You have to consider that daily. We all do, because we are small business. You said we would all be susceptible if something like that happened to us. If we did something that crossed a line, or
There would be
something,
massive blowbacks.
Exactly.
Yep.
Just people would just stop hiring you, and that'd be that. And then you'd lose it because that's just the way things work. When you're in a position like that, where you don't have to even consider something like that, these guys are going to benefit from this, which is mind.
They're both benefiting.
They're both going to, like, imagine
They
for
are.
sets. Imagine he's going to have a whole bit.
Oh, God, yeah.
A whole, I mean, for years now, he's going to have this.
Yep.
Yeah.
For years.
Not just him.
This is already somebody who's already made.
It's not just him though. Any.
Who's been world-renowned, a comedian who's made his name. I mean, he could retire tomorrow, and I'm sure he has enough to take care of generational wealth, take care of his family, stuff like that. If he just fell off the map and nobody knew where he was, he'd be just fine. I'm sure they won't do that because they like to work and that kind of stuff. Will Smith do the same thing, but it's just highlights and illustrates the difference. We have to be cognizant and aware of the stuff that we say and how we act and behave, because there could be blowback and it would affect us no matter what we do. These guys don't give a shit.
Right, yeah. We have to be careful what we say just sitting here.
Well, Smith smacks a guy that goes up there and talks about who wants to be a vessel of love.
Right, yeah, it makes no sense.
Dude, you know what, man? So this is, again,
That's so love. He did say that shit while he was crying.
If it wasn't staged, I mean, there was one part of the evening that really made me believe, like, okay, this is real. It was when he went back and sat down, because I've never,
Oh, yeah. Well,
ever, in all the years I've been watching Will Smith, and unless he's doing a Bad Boy movie, I've never heard the dude cuss, ever. So
if I work in PR and marketing for the Oscars, though, what a
Okay, yeah.
brilliant idea.
yeah, hey, Will, we need you to cuss.
Go
'cause
to
it's
him.
gonna-
Go to him. Off the record.
Mm-hmm.
Will, listen. We know you really don't care about money or whatever. We're gonna throw $10 million to whatever charity you want. Here's our idea, and someone pitches that to Will. Doesn't even tell Chris about it. Maybe Chris knows, maybe he doesn't. I mean, just from a marketing standpoint, though, when you look at the Oscars, like that put them back on the map. I can assure you their ratings next year, when we take a look at that graph, they will go up for next year. I can guarantee. I would be willing to bet anything that more people watch the Oscars next year.
Now,
It's going to happen.
This is also what will for me tell me that it wasn't scripted, because there is talk about stripping him of that award.
Sure. Do you
So
think he should be stripped?
Oh, hell no.
You don't think he
Hell
should?
no. Ban him, but don't strip it. Ban him from the Academy can ban him. I would, like, come on, man, really? Like, because realistically, that moment does not define who he is as an individual. The work that he put into King Richard, that defines that justifies that award.
Did you see that movie?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I didn't see it.
It was amazing. That justifies that work. The only thing I didn't like about the movie is that it focused mainly on Venus, and it really didn't highlight Serena when Serena's the one who's the GOAT.
Gotcha.
But in any case, no, it was a phenomenal movie, and that is what got him that award. If you want to ban him due to his actions at the award show, by all means do it. But I don't think taking the award away is justified. But that's when I'll know. Now, if he doesn't get banned, or let's say he's banned for like 1 or 2 years, then it's like, all right, come on, we knew that now. Now it's like, all right, man, it might have been scripted. But if he's like, all right, you're banned indefinitely, and or going as far as being super drastic and taking his award away, then it's like, all right, then that shit was real, So
All right, guys. We've
I
been
am
going.
starving,
I'm
dude.
starving. Hey, guys, thanks so much for checking this out. This is our first time broadcasting on YouTube. If you want to find more or kind of follow us, or maybe you have questions, maybe you're engaged and you're planning a wedding, please feel free to hit any of us up. You can hit me up. Just go on Facebook. My name is Ryan Layman. That's LAYMAN. Or check us out on our website at OhioDJPros.com. Instagram is at OhioDJPros. Brian, where can we find you at?
You can find us at cropphotography.com. It's KROPP photography.com. You can find us on Instagram at crop_photography, and of course on Facebook at crop photography as well. My name's Brian Crown. My wife Samantha and I are luxury wedding photographers, so we would love to hear from you. If you guys are engaged in any questions about anything, we're happy to help. We're all about elevating the industry. That's why we're doing this. Is just trying to help people out, as many people as we possibly can. So feel free to look us up.
What if I'm watching in Chicago and I want to hire you as my photographer? Do you go there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
It's funny that you say that because we're actually going to be shooting one here this summer in Chicago.
Nice.
Sweet. Dude, you should have a theme song. It should be like KROPP. Yeah,
We
you
all
know
travel.
me. KROPP. Yeah, you know me. Anyways,
Where can we find you, Addo?
they can find me at Instagram at DJ_OK_. Come holla at me, or you can find me on Facebook at JAL_WE. That's Jaway. Come rock with me. Otherwise, I appreciate and love each and every one of y'all.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. We'll try to be on time, back up at 11 a.m. Not going to talk much about next week because we're still figuring it out as we go. 7 episodes later, today I feel like we made no progress with just the whole setup. I'm like, damn, we haven't learned anything at all. But
We're here.
it's
though,
fun.
Man.
We're here though, and we're doing it.
And
So,
again, shout out to Kadar and the Aviator. And this place is
his website is
phenomenal.
aviatorcle.com. Check that out. This is a new event space in Cleveland, Ohio. It's absolutely beautiful. Even if you're watching this, you don't live in Cleveland, you're obviously not going to come here to get married. Hit him up. This guy has so much information on the wedding business and kind of how things work from a venue and catering standpoint. 28 years old. He's an absolute legend.
Makes me wonder what I'm doing wrong with my life. Anyways, all right. Let's go eat, guys. I'm hungry.
All right. Hey, take care, guys.
Y'all be easy.
All right. Mute the mic.